right? There's a reason, guys, that we've been focusing on this, right? Because that's what you're tested on. So we finished most of this slide deck. I'm just going to go down so that I'm just going to get to the end of this. Okay, so we did this, we did this, we did this. Let's do some quick review since we already understand the idea of the integument. All right, so let me get to my pretty scalp slides. All right, I'm going to do a quick review on the scalp slides, and then we're going to go into the model. All right, guys, tell me, where's the hair follicle? That's right. Now, remember, guys, this gets you involved, right? So I think what happened is people kind of wasted the opportunity that this class affords, because if you didn't know what the tissue was, I don't know what to say, right? We covered it all. So get involved so that you're ready when you're expected to know this stuff. Awesome, that's it. Please tell me, where is the erector pili? Well, hold on. There we go. That's it. You guys all got it. Awesome. Just, I thought that's what you meant, Jennifer, but I was going to let it go. All right. Yeah. So guys, note, I mean, we've done this. What page is this slide on? This slide is not on a page, but the slide that it references is on page 51. And it's the smooth muscle, the middle image of the bottom three. Okay, guys? So that is going to be your erector pili. Now, where is the sebaceous gland? That's it. Now, that's not adipose tissue, guys. Don't look at that, because you're going to look at that and somebody's going to tell me it's adipose tissue. It's not. It's white because the oil is clear because it doesn't pick up a stain, right? And this is a sebaceous gland, which means it makes oil. Oil glands are always by the follicles, right? That's what we got. Okay, guys? So, again, I know that there's a lot, but just at least until you know better, just trust me, right? Until you decide you want to go on your own way, just trust your guide, okay? All right. Now, a couple of you went over here. Which was wrong. And that's okay. We're just reviewing, right? Just don't get that wrong on the test. That one there, yeah, when you know, you know, and that's okay. What I don't want and this is why, unfortunately, there are going to be people who are going to get to the midterm and say, damn, she wasn't kidding, right? And that's going to be the first thing you're going to think. You got 53 minutes, 52 minutes, and it'll be like, boom, picture, what is it? Boom, picture, what is it? Oh, boom, what is it? What's the function, right? The blue box. But most of the images are going to be, what is it? What is this tissue? What is the arrow pointing at? Blah, blah, blah. That is absolutely the sweat gland. Thank you very much. Javon, not Javian. Ha-ha! It only took me 4 weeks. All right. So the one in the book sucks. I mean, it just does. Print out the one in the book gives you a follicle. If you look at the book and go right to the far right, you can see the circular glands. Those glands are pretty consistent throughout. Wherever you have these circular red, pink glands, those are going to be the sweat glands, right? They're also called sudoriferous, but they just want sweat. So you can go to page 51 and go to the far right, and you'll see some of those. There are some in the middle, but honestly, those ones are a little sketchy. So go to the far right, and there's a couple of them, about 3 of them, and they look like this, right? They look like this circular donut, right? That's what you're going to be looking for, because they're usually going to be stratified cuboidal, right? That's kind of what we see here. All right, the erector pili on page 51, I mean, it's a really high magnification, but if you break it down, there's nothing else it could be, right? So, for example, on page 53, the skin slide, there's epidermis, dermis, all these layers. Obviously, that's not the case, right? Hair follicle, nope, that's obviously not a hair follicle. Gland, it's not a gland. There's only one thing that could be on page 51, the middle of the bottom 3. It has to be the erector pili, because A, it's smooth muscle, although it's a little hard. It's hard to see the nuclei. But again, when you look at those 3 at the bottom, the far left shows the sweat gland, the middle shows the erector pilis, and then the right shows the sebaceous gland, which you can see mirrors very much. So those three are good, right? The follicles, the sebaceous gland, the sweat gland, and then the erector pili. I would hate for it to come down to process of elimination, but in this case, you can see how pretty the erector pili is. It can be smaller, but it's always by the follicle. It's always by the follicle, and it doesn't look like these glands. All right, so that's where we are. Remember, get the images off of, this is very small. Get the images off of Blackground. That's not a thing. Blackboard. That's a thing. Blackboard. So make sure you're getting the images off of Blackboard and reviewing them. Okay? I know. My English is superb, especially when I make up words. They're like my own little compound words. All right, guys. I know. It's amazeballs. All right. So kind of just review. Awesome. Okay. Please put an X on the epidermis, right? Now we did this. This is straightforward, guys. Put an X or your little thing on the epidermis. That's it. Just that little part right up there, right? So technically all of that is going to be stratified squamous epithelium, right? So just call it keratinized stratified squamous epithelium, right? Keratinized is just going to be the keratin. What's that? A protein. What makes it? Keratinocytes. So all of these layers are stratified squamous epithelium, right? Except for the dead layer at the top, the stratum corneum, but they're not going into that much detail. If they point to the epidermis area that you guys pointed to, they're going to ask for one of two things. They want the epidermis or they want the keratinized stratified squamous epithelium. And that way they would ask for the tissue, right? Because stratified squamous epithelium is a tissue. So if you see an image that looks like this, right? And there's an arrow and they say, what tissue is this? Well, you don't say it's the epidermis. That's not a tissue, right? That's a layer of this particular organ. The answer is the keratinized stratified squamous epithelium, right? Because that's what is the tissue. Boom, you're done. No problem. Okay. And then very quickly, I know, boom, it's amazing. All right, guys, so let's make it easy. Show me where, actually bracket the dermis. So now that you know where the epidermis is, bracket the dermis. And we're doing this because we might as well review this and then just knock out the thing. So everybody on the left, except for the little brackets, are right. Everybody on the right needs to make your bracket get bigger. Yeah, that's it. The last person, that's it. Go until you see the fat, right? Go just above the fat. Just above the fat. Just above the fat. Now, there is fat here. This is not the fat. This bad boy here is not the fat, right? But this is certainly the fat. Yeah, I really need a mouse too. How many times do I have to struggle with my little trackpad? All right, guys. So that's right. So that is fat. That whole fat layer, that's going to be the shocking no one hypodermis, right? Because look, it's under the dermis. Woo. So as you see, guys, not bad, but you got to study, right? So dumb question, but the midterm is not multiple. No, I'm sorry, Christina. No, it's not. It's all labeling. Everything is labeling. Now, there are questions. There's follow-up questions, right? Which are blue box questions. Where is this found? What is the function? What is the importance of this, right? But that's all highlighted in each of the getting ready for the midterm. 95% of this test is, what's this? What are you looking at? You got to write it out, and you got to do it in correct spelling. Yep, it's labeling. That's right. All right, awesome. Now, so, I mean, it might be late to say this, although I'll keep saying stuff. The best way to do this is, one, get involved in class, right? Two, when you go home, you're at home, people. Lord, my head is still in, in a physical location. When you turn off your computer, go review it. Like, you spent time doing it. Go review it and then start your assignment, right? Now, you don't have an assignment for this. I don't think so, at least. It looks like, oh, you do. I lied. You do. Skin histology is on your next one. So go and start the assignment. Study it. Start the assignment. And then if you have any questions, you come see me during my office hours, right, guys? Like, you know, there's a lot of proactivity involved in this. Like, you just do. And that's what, it kills people because sometimes you just kind of are responsive, but you got to be proactive. All right, boom, got it. Now, please tell me where the papillary layer is, right? You know where the dermal papilla is, right? So tell me where the papillary layer is. No, there's no coming to campus. Sorry, guys, that was just me. My head was in campus for a second. So when I said when you go home, what I meant was like when you turn off your computer after class. So yeah, no, you don't have to come to campus. There's no coming to campus this semester. All right, unless you've already done Respondus. I mean, for office. No. My office hours are all online. They're all through Collaborate. Just like you come to class, you just come see me. Yeah, it's all virtual. All right. Whoa, what happened? I read the chat box for a second, and you guys go put the booze down, people. Put away the wine. It's too early in the afternoon. Come on now, people. All right, papillary layer. Come on now. What y'all doing? That's it. Exactly. Put the booze down. Pay attention. Oh, God, Emmanuela's husband is probably home laughing right now. Now I have a complex. See? I mean, I don't care. I'm not at all shy, but now I'm worried about that. I'm kidding. All right, so I don't know what the box is. Okay, allow me to help you with the box. Ready, guys? That's the box. And there's a little bit of this, right? There's a little bit of this here, because I don't want you to feel bad, right? That's all right. All right, guys, follow me. Follow me. There's a very thin layer. That's the papillary layer. And remember, the papillary layer is going to be that areolar connective tissue, because areolar connective tissue is the connective tissue that attaches to that epithelial layer, right? It's really not that big. The papillary layer is just not that big. That means, where is the reticular layer? I'm going to leave that up for all your folks. Now, when you make the reticular layer, I want you to bracket it. Bracket the reticular layer, not all the dermis. Remember, the dermis is made of 2 layers. It's made of the papillary. There you go. Okay, guys, I need more reticular layer. There we go, all the way to the bottom. Because on the left, there's no visible hypodermis. Okay, guys. So I gotta hurry up. I gotta hurry up. I gotta move myself. So I really want to get to bone markings today, and this is review. All right. So let me tell you again. Ready, guys? Papillary layer. Notice, not very big. And then this is reticular layer. Reticular. Got it, guys? So you guys can tell me, where is the hypodermis? Go. Hypodermis. Go. Hypodermis. Let's do it. And nobody better go anywhere but in that corner. Oh, don't go into my reticular layer. It's not over here, people. If you can't see it, it's not there. We can't make it up, friends. That's okay. All right. Oh, man, you guys are like messing with me. All right, let's go. Okay, here we go. So this is good. Yay. This is also nice. Oh, nice picture, guys. There we go. Sweat glands, right? Look at those pictures, little donuts. Oval. Just make sure you're recognizing where we are, right? Look at that. Stratified cuboidal. Oh, it's not bad. All right, awesome. So all of this stuff is nice, whatever. Now, here we go, guys. Are you ready? Skin model, page 53. Guys, remember, I mean, we only have one more class, but still, it doesn't mean you can't benefit from the classes. Get involved, write the stuff down. After class, start working on your assignment and review it. You must have this stuff memorized by next week. You must. By next Wednesday, you must have everything that we have done up to this point memorized. The hypodermis is part with the connective tissue. No, it's underneath. It's underneath. Hypo, beneath. It's also called the subcutaneous membrane. So what does that mean? Quick, guys. Ready? It means this. It means this here. This is the dermis. This is the hypodermis. It's not layered with it. They are separate. That makes sense, Javon? Not Javian. Okay, good job. Very good. Good questions. So these are good questions. Ask your question, then I'll answer it. All right? And then you guys will get involved. So again, get involved, answer the questions, go home, work on your assignment, memorize it. That's what you want to do. Okay, guys? But man, you can't leave it. You just can't. And by next Wednesday, you must have everything memorized definitely through exercise 10, everything under getting ready for the lab midterm by next Wednesday. You must do it. Now, I'm not going to check. I'm not your mom, right? That's right. Just build a fire in your fireplace and get some ramen noodles and sit tight. All right, here we go. This is the model, right? You see this model on page 50. Get the model from online. See this name, Kimberly Dutton? Kimberly took all the pictures. So everything is labeled here. Now, you don't have to worry about some of, actually you do, it's all labeled. So epidermis, guess what? No big deal, but recognize the difference in size. Now, do you see these ridges? Better color. You guys see these ridges? Those ridges tell you I got a separation between my epidermis and my dermis. You with me, guys? Exactly. So that's the papillary layer. You're absolutely correct. I'm just breaking it down between epidermis and dermis, right? Because the papillary layer is one of the layers in the dermis. Papillary layer, reticular layer. Okay, guys? So what does that mean? It means everything above the little ridges, epidermis, right? The very top layer here is the stratum corneum. You guys got that? All this purple part, that is mostly the stratum spinosum, but we don't care. Why? We don't have to know the stratum spinosum. One single line, my friends, at the top of these little mountains, right? The papillae. That is the stratum basal. Got it, guys? Because that stratum basal at the very bottom of the epidermis, the most superficial layer, the most deep layer, that's like one little line. It's very small. All right, guys? That's it. Now, that means right underneath these ridges, we've got the dermal papillae, right? These ridges. Right underneath there is going to be the papillary layer. And there's your picture. You guys see that? I switched pictures. Brisa, what can I do for you?
This might be like a random question, but
Sure.
whenever our fingers are in water for a really long time and we get like those ridges, is that because of the papillae?
That's a good question. So basically, I'm just thinking about that. I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe, because it would have to be at that level because the dermis these layers are not very thick, the epidermis and the papillary layer, but the dermal layer is still relatively deep compared to those two. So I don't know. I don't have a good answer for you. I'm sorry. The second layer is reticular. Sorry, Brisa. I'll have to think about it. Did the book say yes? Okay. Yeah. All right. So Melinda says the book says yes. It's because of the papillary layer. And I guess maybe because, to some degree, a little bit of that water is absorbed. Yeah. All right. All right. So, Shannon, do you see the reticular layer? Yep. Do you see how I've bracketed it? So maybe I've gone a little into the hypodermis there. Maybe a little bit. It is. Shannon, we have two layers. There's a sub-layer. If you look at the book on page 53, there's epidermis, and then there's the layer stratum corneum and stratum basal. And then under dermis is papillary layer and reticular. They're both part of the reticular, papillary and reticular. They're both part of the, dermis. So you got to know all of those. You got to know that that's the dermis. You got to know that that's the papillary, and you got to know that that's the reticular layer. Just like you got to know that this whole thing is the epidermis, as per my bracketing. And then the top is the stratum corneum, the pink part. But the bottom, the stratum basal, is just a line. So a line. So when you're labeling this for the connective tissue, muscle, nervous tissue, skin, your next assignment, you're just going to put a little line at the top of this papillary, the dermal papillae, these ridges, and then you're just going to call that a stratum basal. Does that make sense? Or at least a separation of them. I was confused. Oh, okay. Yeah. So no, the hypodermis is all labeled there. Nope. Not according to the skin models. Not according to the skin model. The white bulbous is white clad. Yes, it is. Yep. So we're going to get there. So the hypodermis, it's right there. They're labeled. So basically everything is labeled, but I might as well give you just something here. Hypodermis, how do you know it's fat, right? There's your fat. So once you know one, if you know the slide, then you can go ahead and just transfer that information to the model. Hypodermis is there. Sebaceous gland. Sebaceous gland means the oil gland. Always at the follicle. Remember, guys? Just like we saw on the slide, always at the follicle. And then the erector pilus, well, that's, I mean, it's super easy. You guys can see it. It looks like a muscle here. All right, guys? Sudoriferous, which is a sweat gland. Now, this is in parentheses, so I would just call it a sweat gland, but the name is sudoriferous, and that is correct, Helena. It is the white part here. That's the sweat gland. All right, guys, you guys clear with that? So, circle the sebaceous gland. Circle the sebaceous gland, guys. That's it. Sebaceous gland is oil. Oil is always going to be on that by that follicle, right around it, because that's where out through the oil shaft is where the oil goes. Now, no purple, guys. No purple. Just blue, blue, blue. Go back up to the blue. So no purple. I'm gonna. No, not here. Not here. Okay, good. Now circle the sweat gland. No. That one is the sebaceous gland. Yeah. Black, purple. That's it. Only one gland. Let's do it again. Ready? Okay, one more time. Where is the where is the sweat gland? Go. I'm erasing. Where's the sweat gland? Oh, you got it. That's good. No, not the purple one. Where's the sweat gland? That's it. Everybody follow the finger. Follow the hand. Just follow the hand. Now, where is the sebaceous gland? Where is the sebaceous gland? Sebaceous. That's it. Sweat is white. The purple. That's right. All right, guys. Now, let's go. All right. Papillary layer, you can see it's right there. Okay. Reticular layer is just underneath it. They're both part of the dermis. All right, awesome. Here you can see the erector pilus, the sweat gland. They're all labeled, but you already got that. All right. Now, guys, pay attention. We didn't have to do this for the other one because you can't see. It doesn't stay in their receptors. All right. So we've got two cells. One is called a tactile or Meissner cell, whichever one you like better, and the other is lamella or Pacinium, whichever you like better. The Pacinian corpuscle is deep. See this? You got to go low for the Pacinian corpuscle, okay? The Meissner / tactile or touch is high up in the parallel. Papillary. Wow. New words every day. All right, guys, you got that? Meissner's high. Pacinian is low. Pick whichever one you like. Tactile Meissner, lamellar Pacinian. Okay, guys? Why? Meissner has to do with light touch. Pacinian is deeper touch. I know. Choose the one you like. Choose tactile. Just go with tactile disc. Yep. You can do either. If it's in parentheses, just do either. Technically, it's Meissner cell, tactile disc, and they're both lamellar or Pacinian corpuscle. Okay, guys? Got it? So again, the higher one here, the bigger cell, the more superficial cell is Meissner or tactile disc. The deeper cell is Pacinian or lamellar corpuscle. I remember it as Pacinian. All right, very quickly. Are you ready? Where is the stratum corneum? Go. Top layer, just the pink, not the purple, just the pink, just the orange, pink, whatever that is. That's it. Awesome. Go. Where is the stratum basal? Only a line. Stratum basal. Just a line. No, not all that purple stuff. Not that purple stuff, guys. There are 4 layers in there. Just the line. Oh, yes. Whoever's doing the ridges. Just the ridges. At the ridges. Awesome. Not the purple. Those are like stratum spinosum. At the ridges. Just at the ridges. That's it. Somebody's doing it right now. At the ridges. That's it, guys. Follow the ridges. Awesome. Okay, that's great. Very good with the M and P, the Meissner. All right, where is the papillary layer? Under the ridges, the papillary layer, under the ridges, right? That's it, under. Oh, somebody did a nice bracket. That's it, under the ridges. All right, awesome, good job. Where is the reticular, where is the reticular layer? It's most of the dermis. Awesome. Oh, somebody wants to get the hypo. No hypo. No fat. Awesome. All right, where is the hypodermis? Fat. Hypodermis, fat. Awesome. Katrina, yes. Go for it, Katrina. Question. Oh, no problem. That's okay. Don't worry. All right, awesome, guys. Good job. Good job. Circle the sebaceous gland. The sebaceous gland. Oil. Sebaceous gland. Oil. Sebaceous gland. Awesome. That's it. That's it. That's it. Circle the sweat gland. Sweat gland. Sweat gland. Sweat gland. Sweat gland. In the middle. Sweat gland. White stuff. Not the. That's it. Awesome. All right. That's what I want. And then circle the. Okay. Ready? The Meissner / tactile. That's it. Meissner high. Meissner high. Meissner high. Good. All right. Circle the Pacinian corpuscle. Pacinian low. Pacinian low. Pacinian low. Oh, sorry, I got to erase that. Do it again, guys. There we go. Pacinian low. Pacinian low. Awesome. Good job. Okay, that's it. And then you already know the epidermis and the dermis. Remember, this whole thing here is the dermis. Okay, that's it. Boom. Do you guys see where I'm going with this? It's not crazy, but if you're involved like this, after class, grab your stuff, start labeling, start the assignment, and study it. Because you gotta know like, everything I just told you. Everything on the test, you gotta do what you just did here, but write it out. Right? So it's obviously a little bit easier to call it out if you guys to do that. Okay? Alright, so gotta do it. And that's the hair. But remember, on the list of the skin model, they don't ask for the hair follicle. Oh, erector pilus. Where's the erector pilus? Very quickly. We gotta hurry up because I really want to get to whatever. That's it. That's so easy, guys. All right, awesome. All right, that's it. Good job. Good job. All right, are we ready? Bone markings. All right, guys. Do your little Rocky dance. Dun 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 dun. Now, I will tell you something. I know, sad, huh? All right, guys. It's true, though, right? Like, let's do it. Now, this isn't even the bone markings, but I got you on there, too. All right, guys, here we go. Are you ready? Page 62. Page 62. Let's do it. We got to knock this out, right? You needed to know this for your lecture test anyway, so most of this should be familiar. So I'm going to ask a lot of questions, okay, guys? Because you should know this. What are we going to start with? We're going to start with axial. It's on the left, right? Let's do it. First, we're going to start with the cranium, the skull. So let's go. Skipping exercise 10. This is exercise 10. Exercise 10 is basic bones. If you look on page 62, getting ready for the lab midterm is the basic bones. That's what we're working on. We're just going to go down the list. Does that make sense, Shannon? Yeah. So remember, guys, like, the stuff inside the lab manual is great, and you should read it, and it's nice, and it's good to see the information, but again, everything I'm talking about here is what you're going to be tested on, right? Like, this is the list you have to memorize. We're good on that, right, guys? This is the list you have to memorize. So when I focus on the list, it's because that's what you're going to be tested on. So just we're good there. All right, guys. Page 62, axial skeletal system, to the left. Let's do it. So first of all, let's do it. I want you to put an X on the frontal bone. When you have a headache, oh my gosh, it's horrible. That's right. And it's actually back a little bit too. Boom, boom. That's it too. Yeah, awesome. That's it. Good job, guys. Now, I'm moving fast. Why? Because chapter 7 and 8 in lecture was bones. So there was an expectation that you're going to learn this. All right, awesome. That's what I'm talking about. If you have a question, ask me. But I'm moving fast through this, right, guys? All right, occipital bone. It's kind of hard in the back, but you're good. Can you go back, please? Where? To this one? Which one? To this one? Which one? No, I don't know where. Anything that doesn't have a skull, it doesn't matter. This is all in the textbook. Like, all of this doesn't matter. If we've got time, I talk about it. If we don't, it doesn't matter. What matters is the model, right? Yeah. Oh, this is in your textbook. Just open your textbook and it's in there. It's in your textbook. Okay, guys, we got to be super focused today because I got, like, technically I don't have to start the bone markings, but if we can, I'd like to, right? And again, I'm just reiterating, guys, that we, yeah, I know that this is already something that you memorized for lecture, right, guys? So, and we're still on track, but if we can knock this out, right, guys, like anything here, like, don't worry about this. This is just pretty. Go Go into your textbook and look it up, right? We need bones. We need something you're going to be tested on, okay? All right, here we go. So that was frontal. All right, guys, occipital. Now you got to go way back, way back, way back. That's it. That's it. Stay down, people. Stay low. Stay low. That's it. Awesome. Now, obviously, the back of the skull is going to be the way to go, right? Okay, that's great. Awesome. Thank you. Very good. Awesome, guys. Good job. All right, that's it. Now, ethmoid bone. Okay, guys, I want to show you something. Okay, everybody just take a listen here, right? Now, there are facial bones and there are cranial bones. The ethmoid bone and the sphenoid bone are part of the cranial. But I want to show you some of the facial together with this. Watch. Okay, guys, watch me. Nasal bone. You guys with me? Nasal bone. Now, this is still part of the maxilla. This bad boy goes all the way up here, right? Usually we test on the frontal, the anterior, right? But what you get is this. You get the lacrimal bone. Now, not here, not right there, guys. Here. The lacrimal bone is more here. And then the next bone after the lacrimal is going to be the ethmoid. Yes, boom. Now, why am I doing this? Because then you can go anterior to posterior. Nasal, a little bit of a sticky maxilla, right? Then the lacrimal, then the ethmoid, then the sphenoid. Okay, guys? I know, don't worry, I'm going to erase it. You guys are bad. Okay, give me a second, guys. Don't do anything yet. Let me do it again, okay, guys? Now, again, I'm mixing cranial and facial because of the order, right? So, now for this class, it doesn't really matter, right? In lecture, they like to say, oh, what part of the cranium, blah, 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 right? For this class, know it in order. What do I mean by that? I mean this. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Follow me here, okay? Nasal. Follow me. Don't touch it yet, guys. You can use your little pointers, but don't use colors yet. Oh, you guys are not listening. Don't use colors. It's my turn. Time out. Let teacher do her thing. That's right. Use your pointers. That's okay. But let me have my color. Hold on, guys. Nasal. Point, point, point. Don't color it, guys. All right? Nasal. Move over, guys, for a second. Move over. Thank you. Maxilla. Right, because it goes down, okay? Now, let me have my colors. Now, the next one is, we're going to move a little bit back. Lacrimal. Leave that little weird space there, right? Yes, that's lacrimal. And then we're going to go back. We're going anterior to posterior. And then we're going to do, can you guys move for a second? Watch out. There we go. Ethmoid. And then jump over that bone, which is called the zygomatic. And then you have sphenoid. Actually, this whole thing is the sphenoid from the side. You got me, guys? What did I say? Nasal. In this way, we're going anterior to posterior. Nasal, little bit of maxilla, and then lacrimal, and then ethmoid, and then pop over that zygomatic and get into sphenoid. You see it now? Awesome! Right? So, yes, in lecture, they like to put it all together, the cranium and the facial bones, and that's perfect. But we're just going to give you an image, and I want you to know where it is, right? Does that make sense, guys? All right, hold on. I'm going to put some numbers up. Give me a second. One more second. Okay, guys? Okay, hold on. Oh, that's an ugly color. All right, guys. And I'm moving here because I want to get this done so that we can get into the bone markings. Hold on. Give me a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, guys, are you ready? Write it down. Now, you got it in front of you. The list is in front of you. 62. What is number 1? Go. Number one. Nasal. Go. Nasal. Awesome. You've got 2 of them, but we only see 1 because this is the left side of your head. All right, number 2. What's number 2? This is a little you're not going to be, honestly, they're not going to go this high with this bone, but I just want you to know where it is. Almost, Samantha, almost. Hold on to that. Maxilla. Now 3, we're going to mix that little weird, circle thing. Just leave that out. Number 3. What is number 3? Lacrimal. Awesome, that's right. Number 3 is lacrimal. Number 4. What is number 4? Number 4 is what? Ethmoid. Awesome. That's what I want. Awesome. Number 5. Over that zygomatic bone. What do we have for number 5? Sphenoid. you to be like, oh, can you even? In here, I just want you to be like, oh, where's the arrow? Boom, I know where that is. Got it, guys? All right, not bad. Awesome. Good job, good job. All right, excellent. Now, tell me, where is the temporal bone? Temporal. That's it. I'm going to show you. Yes, whoever did that, thank you very much. We're going to talk about those sutures later. All right, awesome. Go. Awesome. Now, parietal. Watch those sutures. They're going to tell you where things are. That's it, people. That's it. All that area. That's the parietal. That's what I'm talking about. Awesome. Good job. Very good. Yes. So those sutures obviously have names, right? We can't see the sagittal here. The coronal we've got the lambdoidal in the back. We've got the squamous, right, between the temporal and the parietal. Awesome. That's what I want, folks. All right. Ready? Let's keep going, right? Mandible. Go. Mandible. Yes. Bottom jaw. That's what I want. Sweet. Good job. All right. And then this is where we go with the maxilla. We're not going to go up by the nasal, most likely, but you need to know that that's there. That's right. Maxilla. Awesome. That's what I want, guys. Perfect. Now, for everybody else that's like, wait, she's supposed to be teaching me this. We are. It's just other people are helping me teach it. Okay, guys? You see what we're doing? You got to follow that list on page 62. We're not willy-nillying this. We're got to know all of it, just like this. All right, awesome. That's what I want, guys. Boom. Good job. All right. I love it. Now we got to move because we can't. Oh, we already did the lacrimal. We did the nasal. You can't see the inferior nasal concha here. So we're good. Let's see what else. We're good. Guys, we covered almost everything in cranium and facial bones. See what I'm saying? Awesome. Now, if you don't know that, you have got to memorize that tonight because you should have memorized it for your lecture test. That's the sphenoid, guys. All right. Awesome. That's what I'm talking about. Good job. Again, these pictures are in your textbook. I just add them there, whatever. All right, guys. Now, hold on. No. Nope, we're going to come back to this later when we do bone markings. All right. We do need this image. We need this image because of a bone called the palatine, okay? Now, follow me, folks. Just this. Watch me, guys. That is, see this here? There's two bones. Palatine bone and the palatine process. The front, guys, watch me, guys. Palatine process. The bone is where these guys are pointing. Right? You get me? Let me do it again. Watch me, guys. Palatine bone. Just here. Got it, guys? Oh, no problem. It's okay if you had to log off. It's okay. Oh, wait. Can anybody else hear me? Can you guys hear me? Yes or no? Sorry, Sophia, I didn't notice you. Yes. Okay. Sophia, log off. Thanks, guys. Oh, okay. Thanks, guys. All right. Okay, ready, guys? So, listen to me, guys. Palatine bone, right? That's the bone. That's the basic bones. When we get to bone markings, we're going to want process. Boom. That's actually part of the maxilla, right? You push your tongue up in the front. All right, awesome, guys. Put your X's or your little arrows at the palatine bone, not the process. The bone. That's it. Go down. Nope. Someone's giving me the process. Go down. That's it. That's what I want. Awesome. Good job, guys. So you got to stay with me, guys. Do this. Jensen, go for it.
So are you saying that the palatine process is the process to the palatine bone?
So what I'm saying is that these are two different parts of something called the hard palate. So if you push your tongue up on the roof of your mouth, these two parts are called the hard palate. The front part, the anterior, is called the process. And we see that actually in the next part on page 75, where the bone, the basic bone, is called the palatine bone. And that's just here. So they are two separate parts of something called the hard palate. For our purpose in the basic bones, you need to know this part, which is the palatine bone. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Yep, good. So yes, so Halima, the process is by the teeth. That's exactly correct. The bone is back more posterior on this whole hard palate. That's exactly right. Now we're going to see the process later, but right now, just that's the bone. All right, guys? Boom. Now we can't see the vomer yet. We talked about the mandible. We haven't talked. We'll do the zygomatic. Actually, I'm going to go back. All right, guys, ready? Zygomatic. Go, go, go. Cheeks. Zygomatic cheek. That's somebody's pointing to the temporal. Cheek. That's it. Awesome. Good job. That's it. Everybody's got the zygomatic right there. And it actually goes up to about here, right? It has a border with the frontal bone. All right, guys. Boom. That's what I want. Good job. Perfect. All right. Now, here's another image. Show me the palatine bone. Palatine bone, not by the teeth. Palatine bone, not by the teeth. Palatine bone. Awesome. That's what I want. Very good. Good. Perfect. Now, hold on. I'm looking at my list. Looking at the list. We're good. Let's keep going. All right. Now, here. Where's the frontal bone? Go. Frontal bone. This is usually the way we get it, but you can see it on the side. Perfect. Now, where is the sphenoid bone in this image? Sphenoid bone. Right around in the eye sockets. Yes, actually all of it here, pretty much. See that? And that? Oh, guys, sphenoid. Yes, it's at the side, guys. But here in the interior, don't worry about the side. In the anterior, go here. See that, guys? Anterior. Christina, go ahead. Christina. I can't read.
Okay, so the sphenoid bone is like the innermost lower part of the eye socket?
So it's you see where all the color is right there, right now? That's the sphenoid bone. So it's actually all the way around these slots right there. See the slots, the empty space in the middle? The bone is all the way around it. That's the sphenoid bone. Now, you see it in this image right there. That's probably how we'll test you. But I can't guarantee, right? We can still test it over here. This is also the sphenoid bone right here. See that? Also, we actually have that's the sphenoid. So that's why we don't do sphenoid bone here, because all of this side one is not. It's the back of it, right? That makes sense, guys? It's okay. You just got to knock it out. You got to knock it out. It's got to be methodical. All right, guys. Nasal. Give me nasal. That's it. Right there, right in the middle. That's it. Nowhere else. Nasal. Right and left. Perfect. All right, guys. Give me inferior nasal concha. Inferior. It's the bottom. You can only see the inferior middle. You can't see the superior. Can't see the superior, guys. That's middle. Go all the way to the bottom. Bottom. That's it. That's what I want. All right. Awesome. That's it. That's right. Inferior nasal concha. Perfect. All right, guys. We did the nasal. We did the palatine. All right, guys. Are you ready? From here, lacrimal. Almost. I got a couple. Bring back. Yeah. That's pretty good. All right. Ready, guys? Let me have it. Give me it back. Hold on. Ready? Give me it back. Lacrimal. Oh, wait. Hold on, guys. On the left, watch out. Lacrimal. Right there. Right, guys? And here, you really can't see the ethmoid at all. It's just really hard. All right, guys. Ready? Zygomatic. That's what I want. Cheeks, right? Awesome. Here, maxilla. That's it. Maxilla's top, all the way between the nasal, yeah. But I don't think we'd ever go that high. We'd go like where you guys are coloring. Awesome. Mandible. Go. Mandible. That's right. Underneath, bottom teeth. That's it. That's what I'm talking about. Perfect. All right, guys. One more time. Sphenoid. All around the opening. That's it. Right there. That's what I'm talking about, people. Good job. That's what I want. Somebody put teeth in it. You guys are silly. All right. Awesome. Vomer, guys. Vomer. Careful. Down. Way down. Down. That's it. Down. The top is the perpendicular plate, guys. Watch me. Vomer. Oh, hold on, guys. Vomer. Hold on. Right at the bottom. That's it. Vomer. And usually we might even go inside the skull. Just a little one. Just at the bottom, guys. Just at the bottom. No higher than that. Why? Because the top part is the perpendicular plate. That's not the vomer. Not the vomer. No. The vomer is just a teeny bit sticking out just at the bottom. Got it, guys? That's it. Right there. Good pointing. All right, guys. Awesome. That's what I want. And guess what? Boom. Facial bones are done. Awesome. Now, hyoid bone. Go ahead.
Okay, the vomer bone.
Vomer.
You can only see that from this view, correct?
No, we can flip on the inside and see it also.
Oh, like from that bottom jaw thing?
Yeah, exactly. You can see it from that. So let me see if I can. Yeah, it's a tiny little bump. Let me see if. Okay. Oh, so just so that you see that vomer, it's very, very bottom. We'll always get at the very bottom. Basically, it's between the inferior nasal concha. Okay. Now, hold on. Let me see if I can get. I can't see it here. There. You guys see this? Perpendicular by the here. You gotta have the teeth, right? You gotta have the teeth, and it's right by the palatine bone. You guys got that? Palatine bone is right here. Vomer is right underneath it. Got it, guys? Let's see if this image is good too. Hold on. See this one, I don't know that this is the... See, I don't like this one. I like this one. You see this one? You can actually see it there? See that? Yeah. So this one is a good one. Vomer underneath. So vomer in the front, very bottom, between the inferior nasal concha. Here, you gotta flip it open and see that the top teeth, which has that palatine bone image, which is right. See this here? That's it. That's the vomer. Got it, guys? Palatine bone, vomer. Yeah, see that? Remember them together. Yeah, I know, huh? I'm telling you. All right, good job, guys. Okay, awesome. So, again, I don't love it there. But here, they would have it where it's just right down at the bottom between the inferior nasal concha. All right, guys, boom, got it. Hyoid bone, I think I have to show you on my other slide. I don't think I actually have one here. And it's a separate bone. Oh, no, here it is. Gloria, go for it. This is an image, though. I have an actual bone picture on my other slide deck. So it looks like a little vampire teeth, the hyoid bone, but it's separate. It's not attached to any other bone. Gloria, go for it.
So from the two images that you showed us, like which one would they use? Like this? Well, I guess you can't tell us which one they would use, but would they use a more detailed one or a less detailed one and then ask us for the vomer? Or would they usually do a more obvious like vomer and give us this view?
I think they're going to give you the anterior view. I feel like and this one is back a bit. So it's a little bit, this skull is back a bit. In other words, the skull would be tipped front a little bit more so you can see it. You can just see the tip of the vomer here, right? I think they would give you the anterior view. But just so that when you're studying it, just associate that palatine bone with the vomer. You see what I'm saying? That way you've got a backup. But most likely, they're going to show the easiest, most clear view, which is in the front, the anterior. But again, you know what I mean? Could be. So, but most likely it's going to be the anterior view. All right, guys. That's it. Oh, I do have it. That's a hyoid bone. Again, it's just this weird looking, kind of like a mini little mandible, but it's not, right? Your tongue is attached to it and ligaments are attached to it in the neck. Yes. The pictures on Blackboard. Get the pictures on Blackboard. Get the pictures on Blackboard. Absolutely. All the pictures you go on Blackboard. That's it. You go on Blackboard, you download the pictures, you memorize everything. Boom. Yep. That's what I'm saying. All right. Awesome. All right. So that's just that. Let's keep. Oh, Jaya, go for it.
I was gonna ask, like, okay, it might be stupid, but is there's not bone markings on the hyoid bone because there's that.
No, there's not. There isn't. We haven't got there yet, so it's you wouldn't technically you wouldn't really know. There are no bone markings that you have to know on the hyoid bone. We're gonna get there. I mean, it's my goal to get there tonight. But again, I don't want to. We're still on track. So I don't want to rush us ahead, but it is my goal. I really want to get you guys to the bone markings tonight. But when you get a second, just turn to page 75, and what you see is that all the bones that you have to know the markings for are all outlined. So they're actually in order. Cranial bones in order, facial bones in order, thorax, shoulder, arm. They're all in order. They're all chunked in order of the bones in certain parts of the body. And what you're going to find is, other than knowing the hyoid bone itself, there's nothing associated with that. So there's no markings with it. So
Okay.
you could just double check on page 75.
Because I'm on the bone markings now, and I'm looking at the I don't know. It's a bone that looked like a lightning bolt.
The lightning bolt.
It looked like a
Vomer.
lightning
I think it's the vomer. We'll get to it though.
Okay.
We'll get to it. Yeah. So the hyoid bone is going to look like this, but obviously take some of the images I have are from Blackboard and some are not. Obviously, bones are bones, but take everything off of Blackboard and use that to study. Those are the images you're going to be tested on. Yes. So, but the hyoid bone, no. You're just going to be given this picture and they'll say, what is this? That's it. All right, guys. So let's keep going. That was the hyoid bone, and we're just going to do the vertebral column. Now, what do you have to know? You have to know that there are 7 cervical vertebrae, and when you look at the vertebra, you have to be able to tell what it is. So the big thing with the cervical vertebra, before I talk about C1 and C2, is that there are little holes. These are called intervertebral foramen. Okay, there are holes between the vertebra for the. I'm sorry. This is not an intervertebral foramen. This is a transverse foramen. Sorry about that. Because this is a transverse process over here. This is the transverse process over here. Over here on the cervical, there's something called the transverse foramen, and it's a hole that the thoracic and the lumbar vertebra don't have. Okay, and you can see this as an example here. These are cervical vertebra. This is a thoracic vertebra. Right? There are no side holes. Yes, there's a middle hole. That middle hole is the vertebral foramen. That's where the spinal cord goes. Okay, guys? So you do need to recognize that, and you need to recognize C1 and C2, which I'm going to show you. Okay? But basically, for the vertebral column here, it's a little bit different in the markings, of course. Here, you just need to know it's a cervical vertebra, it's a thoracic vertebra, or it's a lumbar. You don't have to know L4. T3 to T11, right? But you do have to recognize C1 and C2. What does that look like? I'll show you. So this one here is C1. It's called the atlas because it has this part here. You guys see this? This is going to be something called, it's a facet. It's an articular facet. And this articulates with the occipital condyle. So a facet is a smooth part of a bone that articulates with another part called the condyle. So facets and condyles go together so that you can have smooth movement at a joint. This particular, this cervical vertebra, C1, is called the atlas, and it allows you to nod yes. So that was, part of the lecture information. So that's how you can tell this is C1, because it has the little hole, right? That's the transverse foramen, the little hole on the side, and it's got these facets here that the other cervical vertebra did not have. Now C2 is super easy. Yes, this is C1. So know it as C1, know it as atlas. Okay, and then here C2 is easy. Why? Because it's got this thing here called the dens, and this is C2 or the axis, and this also has a facet, right? So the C1 sits on this, and you get no from this. So the dens is really easy. Nothing else comes in. Now, actually, I don't really see a very clear transverse foramen, but it doesn't matter because it has a really clear dens. See that thing sticking up? It looks like this. Ready? Where's my picture? Hold on, guys. I should have a pretty picture. If not here in my other slide deck. Oh, it's not here. My pretty picture of C1 and C2 together is in my other slides. Okay, we'll get there. Just know that C1 has that clear transverse foramina and these facets that will articulate with the condyle on the occipital bone. Okay, this one again, C2, you can't miss that, and that articulates. C2 articulates with C1. Okay, giving you no capability. All right, that's it, guys. And then again, what do you need to know? Well, this is cervical. Why? There's a little hole there. And all of them have this vertebral foramen, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And then, little hole, cervical. Okay? All right. And then, Jaya, give me 1 second. This is thoracic. We're getting a little bigger and no little holes on the side. Everything has a big hole in the middle. That's what the spinal cord goes through. Jaya, go for it. Did you have a question?
Now the thing never went down.
Oh, no problem.
Okay.
It's okay. No problem. All right, guys. You with me? We good? This is a thoracic vertebra. You gotta know it's a thoracic vertebra. Okay, guys? Why? There's no side holes, transverse foramen, but it's bigger, right? Now, it's not as big as the lumbar vertebra. See this big, this is called the vertebral body, right? They stack, the vertebrae stack on top of each other. It's really big here. And also, I also don't have any transverse side holes, right? So I've got this really big vertebra, this lumbar compared to a thoracic. Okay? All right, awesome. This one kind of looks like a little deer. There's the eye. Wait, where's my thing? There's the eyes, right? Then you got a little nose here. It looks like a little deer, okay? But it doesn't have the side hole, so it's not a cervical. All right, awesome. Again, side holes, cervical. Side holes, cervical, okay? All right, sacrum. You just got to know that that's the sacrum. That's it. All right? If you have a question, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to move on. That's right, scarum, sacrum. And that's the coccyx. It looks like, somebody said it looks like a lobster tail. And it does, actually. And it's really tiny. No problem, Javon. All right, coccyx. So, awesome. Now, the ribs. You got to know that ribs 1 to 7 are true ribs. Why? Because 1, 2, 3, oh, that's a bad color. Hold on. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, they each have their own costal cartilage. Look, its own, its own, its own, its own. And that costal cartilage attaches to the sternum. That's why it's true. That's right, exactly. Now, what you see here is this guy, 8, 9, and 10 blend up into number 7's cartilage, right? So that's why 8 to 12 are false ribs. But they're all ribs. Remember, 12 pairs of ribs, right? 1 to 7 are false, 8 to 10 are backwards. 1 to 7 are true, 8 to 12 are false, 8 to 10 are, they share the cartilage, 11 and 12 are floating. They just hang out in the back. All right, that's it. What you got to know is that's a rib. That's it. Right? We're going to talk about this tubercle later. We're going to talk about the head. We're going to talk about all this later. Okay, guys? Just know that that's a rib. Why? Because it says here, 12 pairs of ribs. It's a rib. And this is the sternum, the middle part. Oh, and here's the picture of the costal cartilage, right? In this image, you just got to know that that's a sternum. You don't have to worry about all this other stuff, right? That's, if we say, what's bone is this? Just give me the bone. All right, that's it. So let's knock out, don't worry about it. You got it, guys. Stay with me. Now, let's knock out appendicular. Again, don't worry. And, you know, y'all should have did this for the lecture. Ugh. All right, don't worry. You got it. Stay with me. Now, what are we doing now? Page 62, appendicular. We're on the right side of that thing. We just covered all the axial, right? Not bad. Get out your pictures from Blackboard and just memorize this stuff. I know. Don't get into a migraine. All right, guys. So this is called the clavicle. This is all appendicular. Now, memorize it the way it's put here. Memorize the cranium, facial, hyoid, vertebral, thorax. And then this is the shoulder girdle. This is a clavicle. Don't confuse this with the rib, right? The rib is much more curved. This kind of has an S pattern almost. Ooh, right? All right, that's it. That's a clavicle. If we ask what bone is this, you're going to tell me it's a clavicle. Boom. Okay, guys? This is basic bones. We're not at bone markings yet. All right, awesome. That is a scapula. So if you get a picture and we ask what bone is it, you're going to tell me scapula, right? That's what you're going to tell me. That's the back. This is the front. We never did this in lecture, so I had to teach myself. Let me think about that. Our test is going to be mostly, oh, no. Our test is going to be everything. So in lecture, I don't know. But, you know, most of it was at least covered, but you do have to memorize it. So even if we go over it in lecture, you don't know it until you get home and memorize it. So this is scapula, okay? So our test is going to be mostly bone. So it's not going to be mostly bone. It's going to be mostly everything, right? So, well, no, I take that back. So there's going to be a lot of bones, yes, because you've got 75, page 75 is a bunch of bones. But you got to know it all, right? So, yeah. All right, so let's keep going. This is, again, a scapula. Okay, so when you look at this bone, you're just going to say, and if we ask, what bone is it? Now, of course, as you can see in these images, we've got other things that we're going to talk about. Oh, okay. No problem. So, and again, remember, some of the stuff that we covered, like I've done this in my lecture. I've been like, hey guys, you're going to do this in lab. I'm going to do in lab. You know what I mean? Not a lot this term, I don't think, but anyway. All right, so that's a scapula, boom, done. Okay, not a big deal. All right, now you got to know this. It's the humerus, right? We're going to go into more detail when we get into the bone markings, so that'll help. But that's basically it, right? Your humerus. Where's your humerus? Arm. It articulates with your scapula. Okay, we're going to talk about this in bone markings. Just for now, that's what it is. That's a humerus. Okay, guys? So again, it's kind of like it is what it is. This is a humerus, boom, download the image and memorize it. And I don't know if you're in my labs, and I don't know if you're in my lecture. I can't remember. But remember, guys, we do this in lab, and for now, for basic bones, all we're doing is telling you that's a bone. Memorize it. Does that make sense, guys? All right, are we good? Like I'm just going through this because literally that's what it like. There's nothing else I can tell you. It's a bone. It's called a humerus. Memorize it because we need the time for the bone markings, right, guys? So just it's a bone. You got to look at it. You got to memorize it. It's called the humerus. That's the extent that I can go into. Gloria, go for it.
So, to be clear, on the test, we'll get individual bones. We'll never get like a skeleton and then it points to something and says, what's this? Like showing us the whole skeleton. It'll be like an individual bone and then what's this?
You'll never get the big full skeleton. You can get the skull. However, when we get to bone markings, you have to learn the bones that we have individually. For example, on page 75, all the bones that you see that don't have any markings, they just have names. For example, if you go to facial bones, palatine, zygomatic, lacrimal, except palatine, I don't think we actually have a separate bone, but zygomatic, lacrimal, nasal, vomer, and the inferior nasal concha, those are all individual bones as well. So because we have them in individual bones, you have to know them. But there are, like for example, there are many questions where you'll get a skull picture. But wherever there's, like, for example, and just kind of bouncing back on that, and again, we haven't got to 75 yet, so I haven't touched on that yet. For the cranial bones, the temporal is separate, so you're going to get questions both on the skull and separately. The occipital bone, most of it is going to be on the skull, but there are separate questions. Sphenoid bone, definitely both, separate and skull. And ethmoid bone, definitely both, skull and separate. So when we get into bone markings is where we get into the individual bones, but we never have the whole full skeleton. So for all of these as well, this is how it will be. This is just a humerus, not the skeleton. So basically, yes, and you'll get some skull bones, but not a full skeleton. Does that make sense? And again, I haven't got to bone markings yet, so you know what I mean? We're just literally going through this, and everything you've seen is testable exactly the way I've showed you. Make sense, guys? Okay. All right. I know. I'm getting there. I know. Trust me. I want to go, but I obviously have to make it through this. So again, guys, for these bones, honestly, this is not the hard part, guys. You got to download those images and memorize them. Like, there's nothing more I can say about this image for page 62 other than know that this bone is called a humerus. Does that make sense, guys? So I am admittedly moving quickly through this, yes, but everything I've told you is what you need to know. There's not much else I can tell you. Right, guys? Not yet. Wait. Yes, left and right. Okay, yes. So yes, that I can tell you. Thank you. So left and right. You have to know left and right. How do you figure it out? Two things for left and right. Now, again, you don't have to know everything left and right. So let me go back for the scapula because that is something I need to show you. Thank you. All right. So left and right for scapula. I'm going to go back. Temporal is not. You got to know your anatomical position, right? Temporal, maxilla. Those are the only two you need to know left and right from axial. You got to know your anatomical position. If you're looking at a skull, then you have to know the front of the skull is your left is their right. Does that make sense? Now, scapula, you got to know front and back, okay? So for the scapula, this is called the spine, right? It's shockingly called the spine. That will allow you to recognize that this is the posterior, okay? So if you know that this is the posterior, then you can say this is my left. Does that make sense? Wait, hold on. Nope. This is my right. Sorry, guys. I almost messed that up. All right. Let me do this again. Spine, posterior. All right. That's the first thing you ask yourself. If you look at this and say this is the back, it means put the humerus on there in your head. Right, guys? So if this is the back and this is you in your body space, like you can associate this with your body. Is this the right side or the left side? You've already established this is the back, and you've put the little head of the humerus there like that. Is this the right arm or the left? This is the right arm. That's exactly right. It's the right arm. Now, this whole thing is right. Not right, left. The whole thing is right. We have a right scapula and a left scapula. Again, the first thing you got to do when doing right and left, and thank you guys for reminding me that. First thing you got to do is establish front and back, always. I established back with the spine. Does that make sense, guys? Do we get that? Front and back? Back is the spine, right? Which means this is now my orientation. Now, this little thing here has a little space for my arm, for the humerus head. So the humerus head sits in this little space, okay? And then that's how this would look when you have your body, right? These little parts here stick out laterally, okay? Which lateral does it stick out? Which side does it stick out? Well, if you know this is the back, then you can say to yourself, oh, that's the back. This is oriented like me. It's the right side. Okay, guys? Now, let's flip the situation because I don't know what you're going to get. You could get a front or a back, right? Now, if you get a front, is there a spine? Do you guys see a spine here? Do you guys see that big kind of mark? You don't, which means right off the bat, you got to say to yourself, front, anterior, right? That's the front, which means this is anatomical position. So you see this little dip here, guys? The head of the humerus goes in here. So if you know this is the front and this is anatomical position, it's not your right and left, then what is this going to be? The right. The right. It's not your left, guys. It's anatomical. It's the person's right? If it's the posterior, it's your right and left because it's like it's like your back, your front is facing their back. If this is the front, it's anatomical position. Does that make sense, guys? And because here, this area is where the head of the humerus sits, right? That's the right side. So in the bones and the bone markings, you got to know front to back first. Okay, guys? So, got to know. And then if it's back, then it's your orientation. You can say you're right, you're left. If it's front, if this is anterior, it's not your right and left. It's there, the anatomical orientation, which means it's going to be opposite to what you see. So I hope that makes sense. And it goes way back to the first chapter in lecture. All right. So with that being said, here is the humerus, and let's establish front and back. Now, you might be able to see this. Do you see this little kind of curve here? Do you guys see the head? You see how it kind of curves like this? That head sticks in the scapula, the little space in the scapula there. Do you see what I'm saying? Right? But you don't really know what's front or back, right? You just know that this is going to fit in the scapula. This little part here is called the trochlea. Looks like a little toe sticking out. That's the front. Right, guys? Now, the atlas shows you anterior, posterior. Right, guys? You're not going to remember this. You're not. The atlas shows you anterior, posterior, and you need to find a marking that you recognize, right? What do I recognize? I recognize the little indentation going this way, the head moving in this way. And I recognize the little toe part here, which is not a toe, called the trochlea. And that is anterior. So if this is anterior, and I know this fits into my scapula, my shoulder, what does this have to be? Right. That's the right humerus. Does that make sense, guys? You got to know anterior, posterior. Now, I can't make you remember this. You got to go into your atlas and look at it and say, what shows me that this is anterior? Okay, guys? That's it. And then again, but if you're like, oh, that's the front, but who cares? Well, you know that that fits into the scapula, right? Scapula looks like this, right? The front of the scapula, the front of the head of the humerus is going to tell you, well, this is the anatomical position. It's not my orientation. This is going to be the person. It's their right. All right, awesome. Now let's keep going. Now this again, figure out where your little head bump out is, right? It's going to be a bump out there. Now, when you look at this, careful because you still have a little toe sticking out, but it's not as prominent. You see that? Anterior. So this is it. So this one here is the anterior view. This one is the anterior because it's got the little bump out here, right? And then we keep going, and this is the posterior view. Now, I don't know if you can see this. There's a little dip. Yes, whoever did that. The little dip. It's called the fossa, right? It's actually called the olecranon fossa, right? Exactly. Now, knowing that that fossa tells me this is posterior. Remember, first thing you ask for right and left is anterior or posterior. That's the first thing you ask. Now that this is posterior, I can say to myself, oh, there's a little bump out of my head. Okay, that means it's got to fit like this in the scapula. It's the back. So is this right or left? This is my orientation now. Right. Okay, does that make sense, guys? So not the left, it's the right. This is the back. How do I know? You got to figure out the markings, which you'll learn in page 75. That's the back. You got to look carefully. There's an actual big dimple in the back. It dips in like a groove. It's called the fossa. And then here, so that means I say right off the bat, oh, posterior. That means the posterior is going to be my orientation. Whatever I figure out is my right and left. So with this being said, I'm going to say here, this is back. I've got to figure out back first. That's my little dip there. That's my posterior. And then I'm going to say, oh, wait, that fits into the little nook, little groove on my scapula. Okay? So my scapula looks like this. Based on the fact that the posterior is my orientation, what is this? My humerus can't be stuck in the middle of my body, right? It can't be inside. It's got to be dangling laterally, right? So what is this again? This is, you guys all got it. That's what it is. It's right. Okay, guys, does that make sense? But again, you got to establish the key markings that you can see that tell you front and back. And then that head, the head is going to be medial. Okay, guys? Wherever you establish back, that head is medial. Okay? So this is going to be hanging out on the side. So I hope that makes sense. Got to practice this a bit, guys. Got to practice it. Now, honestly, if worst comes to worst, you got a 50-50 chance, right? Like, I'm just saying. Like, if worst comes to worst, don't spend a lot of time. Just guess. Like, really, seriously, because I'd rather you move on. If you're looking at this and you know it's the humerus and you can't figure out right away, just put something down. Right? Yeah, you get partial credit. If it says you're supposed to have the right or left scapula and you just put scapula, well, you're not going to get half a point. Sorry. But, whatever, move on. If you can't get it in 15 seconds, move on. Seriously, don't let the right and left burn you. No, it could be either. You got to first establish posterior and then establish whether or not you're looking at the right side or the left side, right? So, for example, that's posterior because of the dimple. And then I'm going to look and I'm going to say, oh, this thing is medial because it goes over here with my scapula. So this part is lateral. I'm looking at the back of someone's humerus. That's got to be the right-hand side. How much time do we have? No, not 90. No, not 90. Like 53 minutes. Unless things have changed, 53 minutes, guys. 45 seconds per question. Yeah. 90 seconds was before for 2 questions. I mean, I'll ask. That's how we've always done it. I'll ask, but that's how we've always done it. In lab, you get 2 questions, 90 seconds. 2 questions. 45 seconds per question. Yeah, it's like 53 minutes. Unless things have changed. I mean, don't freak out, but that's how it's always been. Oh, yeah, much less time than the lecture test. This is like boom, boom, boom. So, yeah, no. Each question is 45 seconds. At 70 seconds per question, it's not 90 minutes. No. In lab, it's 45. In lab, if we were in class, 2 questions, each image has 2 questions on campus. You're given 90 seconds for 2 questions. That's about 52 minutes. No, I know. Yeah, no. 45 seconds per questions, guys. 70 questions. 70 questions, not 90 minutes. No, guys. That's why you got, I mean, everybody does it. Like, I know you're freaking out, but don't freak out. Everybody has done it. Like, we always do it this way. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's always, unless they give you more time, which is fine, but I don't think, 45 seconds per question. Exactly. Like, seriously, literally, you look at it and either you know it or you don't. And if you know it, you write it and you're done. For old people, nah. So back to left and right. No, just review it with both, know your back and front and then know what it is. But honestly, left and right, I want you to look at it and try to get it. But if you can't get it in like 10 seconds, 15 seconds to know what the bone is, and then 10 seconds, to left and right. If you don't know left and right, just guess, because you got 50-50 chance. But no, seriously, guys, there is definitely not 90 minutes on this bad boy. But they give you 10 minutes more than they did on the previous one, so I'm going to confirm. But as of now, it was 45 seconds per question. That's 53 minutes. Okay, guys? So guys, you gotta memorize it. And I know you guys don't believe me. I know you don't believe me. 30 seconds or a minute, it doesn't matter. If you don't know that when you look at the picture, it doesn't matter. I know, but I'm really, really serious. I've seen this. And in lab, because that's most of my experience, people will look at it and they'll write it. Either they know it or they don't. Like, that's it. That's what I'm saying, guys. That's what I'm saying. If you memorize it, okay, think about it, guys. What have I told you the whole semester? You got to memorize it. If you've memorized it, you'll just write it out, right? You see what I'm saying? Again, it really is. If you've memorized it, you'll know it. Oh, yeah. You've got to, and I've got to double check, but I'm pretty sure you can't go back. Yeah. All right. So let's do this. Let's keep going. All right. So that's it. That's your key. Now, here is I'll show you this because then, all right, this is straightforward. Here's the ulna and the radius. The ulna has the little pop-outs here. They're processes. This articulates with the humerus. This is the radius, right? You don't have to worry about right and left here, so we're not going to talk about it, right? You got to recognize the key points. Looks like the head of a nail. This one has they're small, right? These are small bones comparatively, right? Again, there's not a lot going on here except for right and left. You got to know this. You got to look at it and know it immediately. And again, guys, we're going over it today, but the expectation was that you would be memorizing already this. All right, so let's just stay together. We haven't even got to bone markings, guys. Like, stay with me. All right, so hand. Now, you know this. Now, in my lecture class, we went over this already. Okay, we did all of this. So you should have memorized this regardless. Okay, what do? You got to know your right finger. Now, I don't know the orientation of this, so get that hand from Blackboard. What I do know is this. Start with the thumb. Always start with the thumb. Why? Everything is labeled from the thumb to the small finger, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Done. These are the fingers, phalanges, right? Phalange number 1, phalanges 2, phalanges 3, phalanges 4, phalanges 5. And then for the fingers, you've got proximal distal, proximal middle distal, proximal middle distal, right? That's it. Now, the wrist bones. Start with the thumb. Start with the 4 proximal row of bones. Scaphoid. lunate, trichitrum on the bottom, pisiform on top. Okay, guys, you got to memorize it, right? Those are 4. Next 4, distal by the metacarpals, trapezium, trapezoid, capitate, hamate. That's it, right? If you start from the thumb and you know there are 2 rows, proximal row and a distal row, proximal is going to be close to the radius, distal is going to be close to the metacarpal. Now, you should know this, my friends, right? You had a test in lecture. That's why you knock it out. Exactly. If you like that, go for it. I hate mnemonics, but go for it. All right. So again, if you like that, no problem. Regardless, you got to know where they start, right? You got to know, are you going from the pinky in or are you going from the thumb out? And I like the thumb. I start always on the thumb. All right. Got it, guys? So very quickly, put an X on the first proximal phalanges. First proximal phalanges. That's the metacarpal, guys. You just give me metacarpal. First proximal phalanges. Don't give me the metacarpal. Okay? All right. Put an X on the third metacarpal. Remember, this is the thumb. This is number 1. That's the thumb. That's the third metacarpal. Good. All right. That's the third metacarpal. Now, put an X on the capitate. Gotta go down, gotta go down. Yep, they got it. Right in the middle there. Perfect. That's it. Put an X on the pisiform. The pisiform sits on the trichitrum. That's it. Right there. That's it. Perfect. All right. There's nothing else I can tell you here, guys. Find your thumb and count from 1 out. Or, here, scaphoid, trapezium. That makes sense, guys? Find your thumb. All right. Let's go. Now, here, we might as well ask one more question. Where is the 4th distal phalanges? That's it. That's it right there, right at the end. Right? 14 bones. 2 in at the pollex, and then going over there's 3. All right, go for it, Christina.
So it's proximal.
So there are 3. Proximal, remember, you got to know where the bones start. Proximal means close to the body. We did this in chapter 1. And distal is far from the body. So proximal is here.
Closer to the wrist.
Yeah, proximal is here, 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 and here for the phalanges.
Right.
Here, yeah, and that's gonna be closer to the wrist. Distal is gonna be farther away. Distal.
Yeah, the tips.
Distal.
Kind of.
Yeah, that's it. Yep. All right,
Okay.
guys, so keep going. So good question. Just want to get you moving, guys. All right. Here is the hips. We've got 3 parts of the hips. They are the ilium, the pubic, and then the very difficult to see in this position, ischium, which I'm going to keep going here. Ilium, ischium is in the back, right here in purple, right? You can see it here in purple. And then the pubic is in the front. See that, guys? All right. The top is called the ilium. Boom, 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 boom. 3 types, 3 bones. Ischium is what you sit on, correct? The ischium. Yeah. I had to do it myself. I'm like, yeah, that's it. Do you guys see what I'm saying? So the front, you can get a good ilium. You can obviously a very good pubic here. Very good ilium here. Very nice pubic here. Not a very nice ischium, but you got to just kind of watch it, right? You can still get it. You gotta eeks in there in the back a little bit, right? Got to get back there. All right. And that's it. Those are your 3 bones of your os coxa, right? You got a right and left. So let's keep going, guys. Yep, that's it. All right. So again, I know normally I get a lot of questions but I want to spend more time on the other ones. Because this stuff, you just gotta get it out, right? There you go. Separate it like that. Okay. Here's the ischium in the back. Pubic's in the front. All right, guys. That's it. All right. Pubic arch, just so that you know, it's just where right underneath the fibrocartilage, the pubic symphysis. Okay. There's your arch, just there. Okay. A big degree, more than 90, female. Smaller than 90 is going to be male. Do we have to know if you should, yes. Just look at the size, right? A 90 degree gives you the male, bigger than 90 degrees, because then turn it this way is female. All right, so let's go, guys. Femur. Now, you ask about front or back. This is let me show you I want to show you the back first. See these little things? These are condyles. These things clearly show you the back. See this? That's gonna be closer to the body, right? It's gonna actually be part of your hip, right? So what is this? If this is posterior and this is medial, is this a right or left? Right. It's right. Because again, this is back, which means you can look at this. This is at the hip because of the head going this way, and you're looking at this. It's like you're looking at this person. It's like your leg, right? So that's right. All right, but again, if you can't do it fast, just choose one and move on. All right, this is the front because it's got a dip, but really the big thing is it just doesn't have these big condyles in the front. Yeah, the patella fits nicely there. All right, here we go. So this is a femur. So there's your head. It's gonna it moves this way, which means it's gonna be at the hip like this, a janky hip. It's gonna be at the hip like this. This is gonna be the front. So this is gonna be the what? The right or the left? This is anatomical position. It's gonna be right. All right. But again, if you can't figure it out, and maybe the best way to think about it is this. This goes in, this is medial. As long as this is anterior, this is gonna be lateral. It's another way of thinking about it. But you got to know, obviously, medial and lateral. All right, so that's the femur. That's it. No, that's not the way to think about it. The head points to the wherever it articulates, and that's going to be medial. The head is always going to be medial. That's the way to think about it. And then you establish whether that medial means your right or anatomical right. Because this is anterior, that little dip there for the patella, that's anterior. It means it's not your right. This is going to be, the head's medial, that means that's lateral, that dangles, right? So this is going to be the right side because it's anatomical in this way. You're looking at the front. Whenever you look at the front of anything, it's anatomical, the opposite of what you have. Whenever you look at the back of anything, you can use your orientation. But I would definitely not use right or left because as you can see, this is going to be left. This is going to be, this one is the right because it articulates with the hip. And then this is the front, right? Because the hip, this is lateral, right? The leg is to the right. The leg is lateral to the hip, right? The hip is always going to be on the inside, like this. Just really quickly. Like this, see that? That's always lateral. So the head of the femur fits in here, right? So this has to be the right side because this is the anterior and this is the posterior. If you just kind of orient yourself standing, you'd see that right side. The left side, this would be posterior. That's getting confusing. All right, so let's keep going. I know that's fast. Again, you got to figure out anterior, posterior. Anterior means the opposite of you. And remember, this is going to be medial. It has to, right? Because you've got your hip that's in here. There's a hip, there's a hip, there's some legs, right? That's got to be right. That's got to be left. That's an ugly drawing. But that's where we are. All right. So, again, femur. The big thing here is that you got to know when you look at this big massive bone, it's a femur. All right. And there's no other bones that we need right or left, we don't have to worry about that. So here looks like a snake or like a recorder. That is the fibula. See this? Top is flat. It doesn't have those condyles, those kind of those bulbous things sticking out. And it has a little point called the styloid process. Medial malleolus. Medial malleolus, lateral malleolus. We'll get to that later. Tibia, fibula. All right, guys, which is the fibula? Like a recorder. That's the fibula to the left. Tiny, tiny lateral bone at the leg. Okay, and then obviously this one is the tibia. Okay, so we're doing okay. And I know you want a break, but I'm not going to give you one, sorry. All right, question, go ahead, Gloria. And then the head points to the right. So again, so we just want to make sure that we're. Oh, sorry. I guess we already said this. Gloria, go ahead. Sorry, I'm looking at older.
So
James.
I don't know if this is a stupid question, but when you're looking at the pictures, I guess you could see if it's a wide bone, but you can't really compare if it's large or not from the actual picture, like compared to if you have the bone. So how do you tell like the femur from the humerus?
Okay, so that's a good question.
The processes.
So take a look. First of all, you want to study them together, right? Because then you're comparing and contrasting. So take a look at this bone for a second. So there's a couple things. Look at this head here, and look at these markings that come off of there. Okay, you see that? So take a look at that, and then I want to show you the front too, so that you know it's not just the back, right? And then we're going to look at this. Now you can see that I don't have such the bone markings look different on the back. Okay, see, there's not that. I mean, the front. The one I showed you was the back. This is the front. So you can see the big head though, right? A little bit different, less pronounced markings on the front of this humerus, so that you recognize front and back. So let's go back. I call that the humerus. Less pronounced bone markings on the front of the femur. This is the femur. Okay, this is the femur, and this is the front. Okay, so now let's go back to the humerus so you can compare it. Thank you. So let's go back to the humerus and compare that. Okay, right off the bat, do you see a difference in these? That head is markedly different. It's much bigger in the femur. You've got these very big protrusions. They're called trochanters. See what I'm saying? And down here, it's very different. You don't have the sticking out part, the trochlea. Now, this is going to be the back, right? We talked about that fossa, but it's very, very markedly different. So the question is then, whenever you have bones that could be similar, you study them together. Study the humerus and the femur together, and then you can see that there's a marked difference. And then you want to study the radius, and the ulna together with the fibula. The tibia is very different. Does that make sense, guys? So the ones that could be similar, you got to study them together. Okay, guys? So it's a good question, but once you actually have the pictures in front of you and compare them, you'll be able to see it. And you need to be able to see it quickly. All right, and again, you can see much bigger. And from the back, this is the anterior. From the back, the femur, that's the front. See this? Look at these markings. Massively different, right? As well. So yes, there are differences when you compare and contrast. And again, don't confuse this with like maybe the radius, because the radius looks like the nail, the head of a nail, right? This looks like a snake or a recorder. Here, sometimes people call this the humerus, but if you're studying, that doesn't look like the humerus to me, right? There's no head here. So you've got to be careful. You got to make sure that you know this material, right? You got to get it into flashcards, get it writing, and know it. So when people are like, oh my God, I have only 45 seconds, guys, this is what it looks like. Are you ready? What's that? Quickly, what bone is this? Write it down, guys. Oh, careful. Careful, guys. Watch that massive head. So this is the femur, right? It's okay. It's okay. Don't feel bad. But you see what I'm saying? Okay, so let me do this again, right? So I'm just going to give you a little thing here. Ready? What bone is this? Now, I know we just went over it, but hopefully you've been doing a little bit. This is the tibia, right? So do you see what just happened there, right? What happened is you looked at the bone and you knew it. Either you're going to know it because you memorized it, or you won't. So I know people are like, oh my God, 45 seconds. Trust me, in the first 25 seconds, you'll know it or you won't. Trust me. So the nice thing is, when you know it, you will write it down and move the heck on, right? You're going to look at the bones. All the bones you should have memorized. Nobody should get a bone wrong, because that's not the hard part, guys. The hard part is 75. Let's get to it, right? So it's just not. I know you guys are, but again, remember what I told you. Get the bones done. Get the bones memorized. They're in your textbook, the names. They're in your atlas, the names. Those are not the problem here. You have to memorize it regardless, right? So get it done. And that's right now. This is going to be the last part, right? The foot. So again, let me just show you something else very quickly. Okay, so let's just keep going. Boom, 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 boom. All right. What is... Oh, let me do this. What is this? There's 3 bones in the os coxa. That's right. You're either the ilium, the pubic bone, or you're the ischium. All of you just said it. All of you. didn't take you 45 seconds to get that. No. Right, guys? Yes. No, it didn't. And if it's because you haven't memorized it yet, right? Do you guys see what I'm saying? I know you guys freaked out when I said 45 seconds, but seriously, guys, really, think about it for a second. Okay, are you ready? Watch. Just watch. Okay, actually, this is a good one. Are you ready? Don't touch anything. Don't touch anything. Ready, guys? What is that? Focus, do your counting, and give me a name. That's exactly right. Give me a number. Give me a number. Second, proximal phalanges. Proximal phalanges 2. It's 2. Remember, guys, 1's here. Now, truthfully, this is a little trickier. So it's going to take you about 15 seconds to look and count, right? Right, guys? You got to make sure you're like, that's my right hand. I got to count. I'm 1. I'm 2. That's proximal. Go ahead, Christina. Do you have a question?
Is it phalanx or phalange?
So the phalange, yeah. So basically, it's so whenever you want to know how anything is spelled, you gotta go to the lab manual. Phalanx is 1, phalanges is 2. We want phalanges, so just go with the lab manual.
With the
Phalanx
phalanges,
means
okay.
1, yeah. So guys, just go with the lab manual always. But
And spelling does count.
And spelling absolutely counts.
Okay.
Yep. So again, when you do this, Jensen, go ahead.
So I remember earlier when we were going over the hand where you just asked us where what this one was. We all said proximal whatever phalanges number 2. Earlier you said this was medial. So does that matter?
So it does matter because remember the phalange. Okay, so this is very quickly. These are the carpal bones. There are 8 of them. And you can see these 8 on page 62. These bones here, which you must recognize, get the image off of Blackboard, right? These bones here are the metacarpal. They're the palm. They go 1, 2. I'm doing this in Roman numerals. 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now, when you get to the phalanges, which are another set of bones, right? They go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you got to know those. You're going to say first phalanges or phalanges 1, and then you got to know that it's proximal, distal, proximal, middle, distal, proximal, middle, distal, proximal, middle, distal. So if I put an arrow, and I won't do it, right? If they put an arrow, since you asked about middle, if they put an arrow right here, you have to know that that bone is called the third middle phalanges, right? You can say third middle phalanges. You can say I would say third middle phalanges because that's how my head works. But you got to know, right? Because this is proximal, this is middle, this is distal. This is proximal, this is distal. So yes, it does matter. Right? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was
So those are
tripping myself.
Okay, I understand. It's because you have to make sure that you separate the metacarpal, which is your hand, your palm, from these bones, which are called your phalanges, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 phalanges, and then proximal, distal, proximal, middle, distal, proximal, middle, distal. You got that?
Yes, ma'am.
Good, awesome. All right, so let's see. I know, and you just got to go back and just pull it out every a couple times a day. Pull it out and test yourself. That's it. Once you got it, it's good. All right. And again, let's just go one more so I can show you what this is. All right. What's this bone? What's this bone here? Boom, boom, boom. Radius, radius, radius. So, an IUS, that's it. All right, guys? So again, when you memorize these, you're going to look and know that. So I know you're freaking out, and I'm going to find out the exact amount of time. Again, it's always been 45 seconds, which means it's going to be about 52 minutes, right? So that 45 seconds, I mean, just time yourself 45. I mean, if I just stood here for 45 seconds, you'd be like, okay, can we move on, please, Miss Nikolic? Right? Exactly. Like, honestly, 20, 25 seconds is on the outer limit of maximum of what you need if you know this. If you don't, I can give you 3 minutes. It will not matter. The problem is, guys, you're going to spend too long on it. If you don't know, don't think you're going to figure it out. Look at it. Give yourself a max of 45 seconds. No more. No more. because you're not going to finish if you mess around like that. Look at it and just say, do I know this or do I not? What do I think this is? And put down an answer with spelling. You don't get it, you don't take off marks for things that are wrong. Does that make sense, guys? There are 100 questions online? Oh, I've never had 100 questions in class. Never. We've only had 70 questions. I've never had 100 questions. In the 2 years that I've been teaching AMP1 and in the 3 years that I was teaching AMP2, in the 3 years that I was teaching AMP2, oh, not here, not in this, oh, okay. Yeah. So, no, here. I don't know what's going on. All I can say, I've never had a lab that was more than 70 questions. Oh, Chattahoochee Tech. Okay. All right, okay, good. Yeah, because I was like, I don't know what you're saying. So, well, that's good. Chattahoochee Tech sounds awesome. Good. Unless things have changed, it's 70 questions, 45 seconds each question. All right, let's keep going, guys. All right, but you see what I'm saying, guys? 45 seconds should not freak you out. Not knowing the material should freak you out. You don't need more time. You need more study. So get that in. Not the 45 seconds. That's not the issue. It's knowing the material. It's true. It is. All right, guys. Good. It's good questions. I want you to ask the questions because you guys ask the questions that people need to know, and I want to give you this information. I just want to reiterate that, like, when you look at the bone, you have got to have it memorized. That's it, right? That's it. There's no question. Bones, slides, and bone markings, and that's why the bone markings are the most difficult, right? So there is unequivocally, you must have everything up to whatever we finish today memorized by Tuesday. I mean memorized, right? I can answer it in 10 seconds memorized. Okay, guys, you have to. There's no other way. All right, very quickly. When you look at the foot, you find your big toe, right? The hallux, the big toe. That gives you medial. No right, no left business. Medial, lateral. That's it. Because it doesn't matter. Now, go online and get the image. But again, it doesn't matter if you know medial. Why? Because medial is just like the fingers. Let's start with over here. This is 1. How do I know? Because that's my pollex. The hallux, excuse me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Boom. You're done. Guess what? That metatarsal is exactly the same. Metatarsal 1, metatarsal 2, metatarsal 3. Right, guys? You with me? Just like metacarpal 1, metacarpal 2, same thing. Got it. Boom. Now, guess what? These are called phalanges. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exactly the same as the fingers. Guess what? Proximal, distal, proximal, middle, distal, proximal, middle, distal, proximal, middle, careful, distal, proximal, middle, distal. All right, guys, very quickly. Put an X on the third middle phalanges. That's it. Careful, somebody put it on the proximal. I'm going to show you middle. Middle is right here, guys. Right? Oh, wait. Middle is right. Yep, that's right. Right there. That's it. That's middle. That's middle. That's it. Boom. All right, now, even the ankle and the foot, the tarsal part is not hard. Obviously, the metatarsal is easy, right? Metatarsal 1, blah, blah, blah. We're not going to do it. So, you got to know medial, big toe, right? Why? Because medial here, right? Tarsal. Okay, where am I? Talus. Talus. So, talus is this part here. It's pretty big. And then you've got lateral to the talus is the calcaneus. Now, it goes in the middle here, right? It's a little bit long. Calcaneus, right? So, find your toe, which is medial. Then you start back here. You start posterior and you go anterior. Follow me, guys? So, start middle. Know that from here. Talus, calcaneus. Okay? That's posterior. Then you're going to move up anterior. The next one here is going to be called the cuboid. Okay? Lateral to the cuboid, lateral is called the navicular. Okay, guys? And you know what? Hold on. just want to make sure I didn't mess that up. Yeah, I'm right. Sorry. Oh, wait. No, I did mess that up. Sorry. I did mess that up. That I wanted to make it. Okay, hold on. That's right. My fault. Sorry about that, guys. Navicular is medial. Sorry, guys. That was my fault. Hold on. Yeah. Talus. Medial is navicular. Yeah, sorry, guys. My fault. All right, guys. See? All right. So, still going medial. Still talus. Yep. This is navicular. Exactly. No, I know. Sorry, guys. I wanted to make sure because I definitely don't want to jack you up. Talus, still medial. Navicular is going to be medial, right? So, double checking here. Here's the talus. Here's the talus. Medial, right? And then medial is navicular. Okay, guys? I know. Well, I have no excuse. All right. I have no excuse. All right. So again, medial. Still sticking with the medial. It's just talus is medial. Calcaneus, that's the first posterior. Navicular, medial. Lateral is cuboid. That makes sense, guys? So I'm going medial. Even though that picture I showed you was the right and this is the left, it's still the same when you go medial. Okay, guys? Talus, navicular, cuboid. Okay, awesome. Now we're going anterior. We're still going forward, right, guys? So we've made sure we got our navicular, cuboid. Now, keep going anterior, and guess what? Lateral is, the little thing here is called lateral cuneiform, middle cuneiform, intermediate cuneiform, and then lateral cuneiform. Do you guys see what I'm saying here? Let me go back to the picture. Medial to lateral. Here we are in the foot, right? Medial to lateral. The other one I have, same thing. Lateral here, intermediate cuneiform, and medial cuneiform. Do you guys got that? Right? Again, what am I doing? Posterior to anterior. Calcaneus. Talus. Medial. Navicular. Lateral to navicular. Cuboid. Continuing forward in an anterior motion. Here, you got to go your lateral cuneiform, intermediate cuneiform, medial cuneiform. Again, medial cuneiform. It's the middle, intermediate, lateral. Okay? Is this picture going to be clear like this? So it's going to be on Blackboard, and it's the same basic image. But again, what did I say? Medial. That's the big toe, right? So whatever they have, always start medial. Why? Big toe. Big toe, big toe, big toe. Medial, medial, medial. And then you go out, lateral. Okay, guys? And then after you finish that, the cuneiform, right? Those three here. Then you've got this here, the cuboid. Okay? Now, the cuboid is big. It has a little bit of space. The cuboid is a little bit with the navicular, see? And it's a little bit with the medial cuneiform. It's a big bone. You guys see that? All right. So, one more time. You already know the tarsal, so I'm not going to worry about that. The metatarsal here, we're not going to worry about that. Again, back to front, posterior to anterior, medial, talus, calcaneus, talus, right? Navicular, cuboid, going from lateral, because that's medial, lateral cuneiform, intermediate cuneiform, medial cuneiform, and then this bad boy comes up a bit, right? He comes up a little bit there, the cuboid, right? So you can see here, this part here is the metatarsal right there. The navicular, did I call it the cuboid again, Brisa? Oh my God, what is wrong with me? Forget this image, because apparently today's not going to work out for me. Thank you. Navicular, cuboid. Okay? Get a drink. I know, seriously. A stiff drink. Oh my gosh. So, other than I am messing the hell up out of my navicular and cuboid, still go medial and posterior. Yes, Gloria, go ahead. Wow, I just screwed the hell out of that one up. Go ahead.
So on the picture here,
Mm-hmm.
it's saying that this is medial. So
But this is medial here.
right. So
Yeah, because I was going this way. Okay.
Right.
Let me say it one more
this
time.
would be medial. You're saying
Yes.
this one's medial. So is this medial or is this medial? Because this is
No,
this is
let me so I just said, just ignore everything I just said. Sorry, that sucks. Calcaneus, talus, navicular, cuboid. Medial, intermediate, lateral. Sorry guys, I jacked that right up. I'm just gonna throw it out there. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna do it again because that's right. Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to me there. I just kind of lost my whole thing. All right, let me do it again. Now, still I'm not wrong about medial, but everything else. Calcaneus, talus, navicular, cuboid, medial, cuneiform, intermediate cuneiform, lateral cuneiform. Sorry, I'm not quite sure what happened to my brain. I don't know, maybe, but I just lost my mind there for a second. So what I just said was correct, and Gloria, you're absolutely correct. The first time I did it, it was just jacked up. So yeah, gotta own that one. My apologies. And do it one more time, and this is it. All right, guys? Calcaneus, talus, navicular, cuboid, starting back with medial, intermediate, and then lateral cuneiform. And that follows medial, intermediate, lateral, and then that's the cuboid over there. So I got that one right. Sorry, guys. Wow. I've been so good. I jacked that foot right up, didn't I? All right, yeah, woo. Okay. Now, I'll ask you where we are here. Let's go from the back to the front. Yeah, see? No, you're good. And I'm just like, just jacked that whole thing up. Sorry. All right, let's go from anterior, posterior, and let's think about the medial. Calcaneus. We're going to go anterior, posterior. Sorry, posterior, anterior. See, I'm on crack. Posterior, anterior. Calcaneus. That's it, right there. Oh my God, wow, that's so bad. All right, that's it. Calcaneus. And then I'm going to erase it. Ready? And then talus. We're going to go back to front. That's what I was saying. Oh my God, I'm on crack. I'm really not. All right. And then we're going to go to navicular. So this is still good. That's it. You want to go in this direction. That's right. Now you want to go lateral, which is cuboid. Now you want to go cuboid. That's it. So, and then I think you should go back medial. Go to medial cuneiform. That's right. Then you just kind of go all the way back medial. And then, yeah, hold on. Let me erase that, guys. Medial is going to be right. Remember, medial is big toe. You see that? That's medial. All of this right here is medial. Right? Yeah. So you're going to start medial by the big toe. And it doesn't matter which big toe you have, right or left. That medial cuneiform is always going to be there by that big toe. Now, this actually is lateral. This is medial here. Why? Big toe, big toe, big toe, big toe. Yeah, wow, guys, sorry about that. I don't even know what happened to me. So do medial one more time for me, guys. Medial cuneiform. Find that big toe. Yeah, that's it. Come back, guys. That's it. Down. That's all medial, and you guys are pointing on the cuneiform. Awesome. Now, once you have medial cuneiform, go intermediate. In other words, we're going to go medial to lateral. Go intermediate, right beside it. That's right. We got to move over just one. That's it. And you guys were absolutely right. I had it completely backwards. Anyway, now that you've got intermediate, go to lateral cuneiform, right? Once you get medial, that's it. And then it's the cuboid that does both lateral to the navicular and lateral to the cuneiform. It's long. Oh my God. Sorry about that, guys. I'm really sorry about people that I just confused the crap out of. I really apologize for that. All right. So I feel like I have to do it one more time because I'm so sorry. I just jacked it up. Okay. Calcaneus. And again, still find the medial, right? Find your medial, the big toe. So, yep, calcaneus. That's it. Okay, guys? Talus. All right, that's it, guys. Good. Now we're gonna stay medial. The next one, navicular. That's it. You got it. Staying medial. Good. Navicular. Then we're gonna go lateral to the navicular, which is the cuboid. Notice how it's long, right? So it's got a little bit of a adjacent beside two bones, which is navicular, and then we're gonna see. Awesome. All right, now let's go medial again. Medial cuneiform. Go all the way back to your toe, right? Medial. That's it. Awesome. So again, you guys are doing great. And then we're gonna go from medial. We're gonna go intermediate. So let's go from medial to lateral. Intermediate. That's it. Right beside it. Perfect. Wow, guys. Sorry about that. All right. And then the next one is lateral cuneiform, right? We went from medial to lateral. That's it. Right there. Don't move anymore. That's it. Perfect. And then we still can go lateral, and you still see a little bit of that cuboid right there, right? Because that cuboid does that. Yeah, now you won't forget. Unless you remember the jacked up version. Wow, I just don't even know. Sorry. All right. That's it. All right. I know. Legendary. You guys are gonna be like, you remember that time when Miss Lickalick, when she jacked up the foot? It's not funny. Better to do it now. All right, guys, does that make sense now? I know they are, but honestly, I don't know what happened to my brain. I seriously think it melted for a minute, and I just lost my mind. But I still maintain, get the medial, because then you'll keep everything in order from posterior, all the way up here, right? And then metatarsal. Honestly, I just made it much more difficult than it had to be. But yeah, okay, that's it. I think you thought the labeled nice. No, you know what? I know what you're saying, but I don't know what I thought. It wasn't quite that, because I knew they were opposite. Yeah, seriously. I don't have a good excuse for that, because I don't know what happened. Yeah, there's no excuse for that. I don't. I just seriously literally thought I lost my mind, because I knew they were not the same. And that's why I kept saying medial. Like, I knew they were opposite. I just totally lost my brain. Like, wow. Well, there you go. Y'all welcome. Yeah, exactly. You're welcome. See? No, that's what happened right there. It was a teachable moment. I'm horrible. All right, guess what? We're done. All right, I don't know. Should we take a break maybe? I feel like pushing through, but now I'm scared. Listen, I'm going to take them when I can get them. Okay, no break, guys. Push. Okay. Now, actually, the bone markings are... Yeah, no, I spent a long time on the bone marking stuff, so we're good. All right, that was fun, not fun. All right, guys, are you ready? I should have everything. Oh, have you? So sorry. Sorry, guys, I still hadn't finished everything. All right, guys. Okay, now I feel good. I'm going to have to slow down now, too. Otherwise, my mouth will start talking stuff that doesn't agree with my brain. All right, guys, are you ready? Page 75. The notorious brain. No, I got this. The notorious bone markings. All right, guys. So, just gotta shake it off, especially me. Shake it off. I got this. All right. How are we gonna do this? You're okay. You got this. Wait, which one was... All right. Can I? Are you getting the first lab manual slap this evening, or do I get it? Who gets the first lab manual? You. It's horrible. For everything I've done, Austin. I can't find the toe. You guys are. It's wrong. That's all I can say. And yes, Austin gets it. It's the great toe. That's the answer. When all else fails, Austin. Oh no, Austin's here. He's here. All right, guys, let's go. Okay, we can do this, guys. Obviously, we're not going to finish this today. Don't get your hopes too high, right? We've got next week. All right, guys, let's do it. page 75, right? We are going to start with the cranial bones. We're going to go exactly the way this is. Now, it's good to do the bone markings and remind you, because we're going to use those images to build on, right? To build bone markings on top of. All right, guys. So let's do this. Now, a couple things. I recommend that the textbook has these, not exactly this, but pretty much exactly like this. It has the charts that talks about what tuberosity is, a crest, a trochanter. It's actually a good idea to get these and have them out. Don't memorize it. Do not memorize it. Just have it out as you're going through this, and just kind of say, oh wait, what's a tuberosity? Okay, a tuberosity is a large rounded projection. Okay, I remember that. A trochanter is a very large, so it makes sense that I'm going to have a trochanter on a big bone like a femur. Okay, guys? So just think about this when you're doing it. Don't memorize this. Don't memorize this chart, but just refer back to it as you're studying, and just because it will help put things into a greater context. Like a tubercle. A tubercle is small. So think about it like this. The tubercle is small, rounded. Tuberosity is kind of more medium as we're going up in size. Trochanter is a large process. It's just a bone that sticks out. That's it, right? Exactly. So don't memorize this, but reference it so that it gives you more context. Again, literally, if you've got the textbook, open it. If not, just open Google and say, search bone markings chart, whatever, and just reference it, okay? So again, don't memorize, okay, guys? So again, those are some projections here. Tuberosity, trochanter, tubercle. And then you've got a crest. We saw that crest when we oriented ourselves around the anterior posterior of your scapula, right? There's a nice, I totally lied about that. We have a spine, and the spine is like a crest, but it's more, what's the word I'm looking for? Like more kind of horizontal, right? Where a crest is like the top of a wave, right? Which we're going to see in the hip. So as you kind of reference back, you can say, oh, the crest is like this. It's a little more of a wave. It talks about a narrow ridge here, but we've got a crest on the ilium, which we're going to see. Don't worry. And then we've got a spine, and that spine is more the back of. It's like a little bit of a crest, but it's on the back, right? So as you see this, just kind of reference these, and it's going to bring more understanding. So that's what I want you to think about. Don't memorize it, but just recognize the basic meaning of them. Yeah, like a chicken. Yeah, for the crest you mean, or the spine? Yeah. Okay. I was like, the crest or the spine? Yeah. That's something I would do. I probably already have done that tonight. Oh, Lord, the feet. All right, let's go. So again, these are straightforward, right? The head. Well, we already talked about head. The head it can look a little different. We got the head of a femur. We've got the head. What happens is you find that the head is often proximal. Okay, it's usually going to be proximal, or it's going to be anterior. So we often, I lied, because this one is going to be, the head is going to articulate with the vertebra. So the head, though, is just one part of the bone. A facet is kind of a flat part. Like we saw that facet when we looked at the atlas, C1, right? You have an articulation between C1, the facet, the flat part, and then the occipital condyle, which we talked about in lecture, but we'll talk about obviously here. And then the condyle, we saw that with the big kind of fat parts that stuck out in the back of the femur. Again, we just briefly saw it, right? Again, these are going to be rounded articular projections. That's where you're going to have another bone that are going to be able to smoothly articulate. Okay, so you get this movement at two bones. And the ramus is literally like a bar, like you can hold on to it. This is the mandibular ramus here. So it's just a part that you can hold on to. There's a pubic ramus. There's an ischial ramus. It's just an area of the bone that's a little bit longer that you can grab onto, like a handlebar, right? Bar. All right. So that's basically it, okay? I lied. These ones are simply the opposite of your processes or condyles, right? They're little grooves. They're either going to be a little groove, like a little dimple, right? Which we have some of them. Or they're going to be a fossa. And this is going to be a little bit deeper groove. We're going to see the fossa almost like, we see the fossa in the front of the of the scapula. And we see it in grooves. So it's just either kind of a flat area or a groove area. Okay? And then fissure are like the foramen, except they're long and thin. Foramen is usually a hole, like an oval or a circle, and then the fissure is usually like a slit, right? They're open all the way through, but it's a slit. So again, as you're going through it, just kind of look at these because it'll help you give context to that. Okay, that's it. A notch is literally, it's like a fissure without a hole. It's like this little part that goes, an indentation. Jensen, go ahead.
So basically, you're saying that bone markings are going to be like little itty bitty things, correct?
They could be itty bitty things, and not too itty bitty, or they're going to be bigger. So remember that I can have different types of these things called a tuberosity and trochanter. They can be very large. Like for example, on let me think. I think it's the front of the femur. You've got these really large, a great and a lesser trochanter, and they're quite big. So they can range from something that's just maybe a centimeter, not itty bitty, but maybe a centimeter, to something that's quite big. So I would say that they're very recognizable, but they're on the bone, and that's why we call them bone markings. So I wouldn't say that they're usually too small. I mean, just thinking about the ones that are in my mind off the top of my head. So I'd say that I would say generally they're quite easily recognizable. That's what I would say. As long as you know your bones first. Yeah, and we're gonna do all of them, so you're gonna see. All right. So again, you've got to have your bones before you can know your bone markings, right, guys? Like that makes sense, because then you won't know that, oh, this is the frontal bone. Oh, this is the temporal bone. You got to know your bones. So without a doubt, you must memorize your bones by tomorrow. Sorry, guys. Right? I already told you before, get it done earlier. Now you must memorize it by tomorrow, right? Because then you got to start on the bone markings, right? And of course, everything else. All right, so first we're going to do the frontal bone, okay? We only have two things here. Now, theoretically, we could get an actual frontal bone, which I'll show you in a minute. In other words, a separate bone that's frontal. But what we have is basically one thing. It's called the supraorbital foramen, right? Now, where am I? I'm on page 75 at the top of the column called cranial bones of the skull. I'm going down the bones of the skull, the cranium bones. I'm going to talk about the markings that are on those bones. Okay, guys? That's where we are. So, supraorbital means above the orbit. What is the orbit? Around the eye, right? So keep that in mind. This is not super crazy, right? So there's your orbit. It's supra, means above, and it's orbital, around the eye. Now, you can call it a foramen or a notch. Why? Because in this case, it's a notch. Because it's just a little tiny clip, all right? If that's the orbit, and this is the supra part, it's just like a little indentation a little bit, right? Now, you can call it the foramen or the notch. It doesn't matter what you think it is. It doesn't really matter. If it says or, you can call it either. Does that make sense? It's the area that's just on top of that orbit, right? And sometimes it's an actual foramen, like this little mental foramen down here, like an actual dimple. All right, guys? That's it. Boom. Now, I want to show you an image of, I'm just going to jump. Okay, here we go. That's an image here of the frontal bone, right? Can you kind of see it? That's the orbit. Okay, that's your frontal bone. Obviously, it's completely back as opposed to being kind of more forward. And then here, there would just be the little notch there. Yeah, that's it. You can't really see a good notch here. We're going to give you a good notch. But here's Kimberly Dutton, which means this is an image on the thing that you have to know. You have to recognize that this is a frontal bone. Now, what I want to know is the supraorbital foramen, right? That's what we want to know. And here, they're just pointing to this image here, and that's what we would do here. It's like right about here. Blackboard. Yep, Blackboard. You got to get the images from Blackboard, guys. Don't go to the world around. You got to go to Blackboard, right? Get the test images first. If you can't find it, go into the lessons, right? Go into the test images, go back and see if it's under the lessons, go into the soft chalk. But they should be all under the test images. All right. See where we're getting with this? Not bad. Not bad. All right, now this is just another image. What is this image? It's just from the superior. We're looking down. There's your orbital again. This is where your nasal bone would fit. There's your orbital. And again, I just wanted to give you just a couple different images. That's it. Boom. Let's keep going. Now, that was it. That was your frontal. Could we ask for the frontal bone? Possibly. But I think what we would do here is just that supra-orbital notch or foramen, whichever one you want to say. All right. Now, the next one, temporal. Oh, wait, did I miss the parietal? You know what? Did I miss I might have missed the parietal. If I did, I'm going to pick it up with a skull image. Let me see. It might be here in just a second. Let's just go to temporal, and then if I missed it, I'll have to pull up another image. That's weird. Oh, man. Oh, well, this is fine. First, let's go back up to the parietal, because you can see the coronal suture here. See this, guys? Coronal suture gives me a what? Gives me a front and a back, right? Now, you cannot see the sagittal, but it would be here, guys, right? Like that. It's on the top. That makes sense, guys? It actually goes all the way down and meets at the occipital. Does that make sense, guys? So the sagittal is actually, you have to look down at the top of the skull, and it's right down the middle, like you would get a sagittal cut, right, guys? And then here, you can clearly see the coronal suture. It's not a frontal suture, it's called a coronal suture. All right, guys? So that's it. That's kind of an added one. That would be like taking the top off the skull. No. Taking the top off the skull would actually be, it's called transverse. So coronal means I would be getting a front and back. Watch. Coronal suture, right? This would be what I would say would be the front, giving me a front and back. So if I take the top off, it means I would do this. And this part comes off. Does that make sense? Coronal takes the front off. Headband. Oh, a headband. A headband going in a weird way. Like a dentist band. Going like this. Exactly. The coronal is going to be split in half. Right? So, in other words, you're going to get a front part from the coronal, which is the frontal bone, and you're going to get a back part, which is going to be the right and left parietal, and then the occipital. Does that make sense, Samantha? Right? The best way to think about it is front and back. So, if you do a coronal the coronal suture, ultimately it doesn't really matter. Just know where the coronal suture is. Know that the coronal suture separates the frontal bone from the parietal bone. That's what you want to do. Exactly. You just want to go frontal bone, parietal bone, suture. And obviously these bones have to be together so that you can see them. You can see the suture. All right. So technically that finished the parietal. Okay, guys? Now, I didn't show you the sagittal because I need the skull that you look down on, but it's literally just the jagged suture showing the right and left parietal. All right. Okay, a little bit. So, Jaya said it's scary. Now, I want you guys to notice this. Obviously, Kimberly Dutton, right? This is from Blackboard. This is a bone. This is a temporal bone. How do you know immediately? 3 things. 1, zygomatic process. It sticks out. 2, styloid process. Looks like a funky tooth. 3, janky holes. Okay, guys? Now, in this image, you cannot see the styloid, the zygomatic process. You see, because it's kind of laying on it in a different way. Okay? So you got to know, first of all, you got to know that this is the temporal bone. All right, guys? That's the first thing. Okay? And that's where we are here, temporal, squamous, and petrous portions, right? So here, what they're saying is that the squamous, remember that there's a squamous suture, and that squamous suture is what articulates with the parietal, right? But again, don't worry, just know this is temporal bone. Now, let's go from top to bottom. Are you ready? The squamous suture. Now, you can't see the squamous suture here. Okay, so let's just be clear here. For the temporal bone, you have to have something that shows a suture, right? So here's the temporal bone, and here's the squamous suture, guys. Here's the temporal bone, right? We talked about it before. That's the squamous suture. You with me? right? I can't just have an individual temporal bone. I gotta have a skull to have a suture. Otherwise, it's like, oh well, the suture is the edge. Good enough, right? All right, so that's what we got. So you gotta know your temporal bone in the skull, which obviously is here. It's labeled. That's why I like this one here. And then that's the suture. That's the squamous suture. Now, you gotta also look at that and say, boom, I know that's the temporal bone separated from the skull. How do you know? Zygomatic process. Boom, boom, boom. Janky holes, right? External auditory canal. Little tiny teeth, right? Styloid process. Okay, guys? When we have in this position, mastoid process. Mastoid, right back here. You can feel it right back here, right? Mastoid process. Boom. Okay? And you kind of orient here. You can see it this way. Mastoid process. So what have we just done? Got to go back to that skull for squamous suture. Not a big deal. External auditory canal. This. External auditory canal. Right? Now, we can also call it external acoustic meatus. Here is the external auditory canal. You guys see that? This is the image that you have on that bone. You guys see that? Pop it right out of that skull, and that's what we have. Okay? So, from the skull, external auditory canal, zygomatic process, mastoid process, and you gotta search in here a little bit. It's coming down like that. That's the styloid process. All right, guys? Again, both of these, because you got a right and left. But again, here, let me see. Just got to make sure that at about a couple days before the test, you're looking at what attaches to these based on the asterisks. Just like the blue box says, you should know the significance. I'm not going to go over that in class, right? Look in your textbook. I'm going to go over just where everything is. All of that is just laid out in the textbook very, very simply, right? Here, though, again, external auditory canal, mastoid process, styloid process, zygomatic process, can't see it here. Are we good? We just finished the first 2, 4, 5. Okay? Not bad. You got to stay with me, and you got to go and practice it right away. Now, remember, Atlas. Atlas has these labeled, right? You're not stuck with just me. I'm setting you up for this, right? Textbook. Most of this is in the textbook. Most of it, right? So just keep that in mind. All right. The next thing is jugular foramen, carotid canal, and the internal auditory canal. You can't see those on these bones. We got to go inside the skull. Yes, the atlas, right? Okay. Now, here, with this one, guys, watch these pictures. See these pictures? External auditory canal. See this picture? We flip that inside. There's a pretty picture of that styloid process. Here's the outer part of the zygomatic process. That's the internal acoustic canal. Okay, guys? External, internal. And you can relate it to that styloid process. And it sucks, but that's what you got to do. Right, guys? And memorize it in this order. Do the frontal, parietal, temporal, occipital, sphenoid, ethmoid. Okay, guys? Just like this. And then your brain will retain the information in that order. All right. So, let's keep going. So here, everything's labeled. Picture to the left, I just got this online. Picture to the right, images from the Blackboard. You see where we're going here? And again, here's the picture that we saw, just so that you know. You see this image here? See this image here? That is this. Right? External auditory canal, zygomatic process, mastoid process, styloid process. Are we good? Yes, and atlas. So I'm here to set you up. You guys have got to dig in. I know, it's nice, huh? Not bad. So it's okay. So, you'll forgive me for the foot. Sorry. Listen, I'm not going to pretend like it didn't happen, because it did. The foot happened. We were all there. Sorry. I mean, I shouldn't laugh, but it's true, right? Like, this thing like jacked the foot. Oh, puns. Puns. Nope, no puns. No puns. Oh, great. The coloring atlas for this, there's a coloring atlas for bone markings? For bone markings? Or just the bones? Really? Oh, I didn't know that. I've never seen that. Hey, Samantha, can you send me a link if you get a chance? Do you mind? I mean, if it's easy and you remember. Yeah, but I didn't know it had the bone markings. Thank you, Samantha. Send me the link, because this is something I would recommend maybe coloring. Most of them I don't. I don't know. That's because I haven't found them useful. But maybe the bone markings would see. All right. Again, you're not lost, like, just because you don't have it. Most people don't have it. Honestly, most people don't have the bone marking book. But all right, guys. Now, what do we see here? Here we saw an image of this before. Remember? Now we don't have any teeth here, so it's like an old kind of gummy, skull. Because here we've got that palatine bone in the process, the vomer here. So what we see here is wait, what's that? I don't think that's what we want right now. You're like, come on, get with it. So notice what I've labeled here. First of all, guys, are you ready? You need to find a landmark. Now, what the hell am I talking about? I mean this. Find something you recognize immediately. Immediately. You know what the bone is. Now, notice that this doesn't say Kimberly Dutton. So this is just one of the images that I have. But the bones are the bones, right? So it's not... Take all the images from Blackboard, but again, a bone is a bone, right? It's not like markedly different. But what I want you to notice is that when we have to flip over, remove the mandible so that you can see all of these various foramen or holes, find your landmark. For me, it's whatever is quickly identifiable. This is called the foramen magnum. Now we're going to get to this when we look at occipital, right? But that's the hole you see right off the bat. So right off the bat, you're going to say to yourself, okay, what direction is this? This is going to be posterior. Again, direction, right? Because I can't, like, most of the time, the images are going to be in the direction they're going to be in, right? Because Kimberly Dutton's name is always in the bottom corner. So that's going to be a hint for you, right? But orient yourself according to that landmark. For me, in this image, boom, it's that magnum foramen. So based on that and this, watch, guys, styloid process. You see these little teeth things? Now it's kind of hard because I blocked them a little bit. And guess what, guys? Mastoid process. That is not occipital. That is, let's see, I want to go over. I don't want to, I see it here, but I don't see it so well over here. It might be right here. Mastoid process. I see it very clearly over here. Mastoid. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Oh, yeah, guys, Kimberly Dutton. Here she is. You guys are like, who the hell is Kimberly Dutton? That's Kimberly Dutton. Sorry. I'm sorry. Did you guys, oh, wow. You guys are like, this woman's back in her foot face. I'm sorry, it's not funny. It's not funny. Oh, thank you, Samantha. That's awesome. Guys, if you want to click on that when you get a chance, that's the coloring book. And Samantha, apparently it has the bone markings, but I don't know. I'm trusting Samantha here. So, all right, guys. So back to this for the last two. Well, three. No, we already did we'll do the two. The jugular foramen and then the carotid canal. So, again, start off here with the, that's okay. Start off here with the foramen magnum. Know this is going to be posterior. And then you're going to go up here. Nice big opening here. right? On both sides. I don't have both sides, but there are obviously two. The jugular foramen, right? Now, how else do you notice this? Watch, guys. This is called the occipital condyle. We're going to see this in the occipital bone. So, right beside the occipital condyle, guess what we have? Jugular foramen. Okay, guys? So, I don't know about any of these guys. I guess they're all good. But don't not study because you're waiting for Amazon coloring book. For the love of God, don't do that. You have to study on these images. The coloring book just helps you orient yourself. You must study on the images in, that coloring book is like, oh, it helps me see. But you must study on the images in Blackboard, okay, guys? And the atlas is going to help you label, but you must study on the images in Blackboard. They're pretty much the same. All right, guys, we good? Now, this image kind of is a little janky because this looks like a fossa, but it's not. It's the carotid canal, which is the area where the carotid artery goes through. So I'm going to I can't see it over here, guys. Don't freak out. I can't see it over here. So you got to orient yourself from posterior to anterior. I've got my jugular foramen right by my occipital condyle. And then a little bit anterior to that, I've got my carotid canal. You know where that's close to? Look, styloid process. And you guys are like, no, woman, what are you doing? But this is how you got to do it. It's a landmark. It's just like a map, a topographical map where things are elevated, right? You got to find your landmarks so that you can look for it and know where it is on the images on Blackboard. You guys get what I'm saying here? So, just to repeat, I know where I am because of my foramen magnum. I've got my jugular foramen right by my occipital condyle. I've got my carotid canal right by my styloid process, the little singular tooth that sticks out on the temporal bone by the mastoid process. All right, guys, you with me? You with me? I know you're like, ah. All right, guys? This is how we got to do it. We got to do it methodically, like we're robots. This is the heading. This is the stuff. We're going to look at it, find it, and then you're going to go home and find it and just label the crap out of it. No, you can't. You can see it in some images, but not this particular one. And actually, you have to dig a little bit deeper to get it. So in some of these images where you remove, I think, the occipital, because the external is actually, you can't see either of them. But remember, the external is in the temporal process. I know. I wish I could just download this into you too. Maybe one day when we biohack our bodies. All right, guys. So that's it. I'm just thinking if there's another image I want to show you for the internal. Again, here's the internal acoustic from the individual. I don't think I have another image. I'll keep an eye out for it, but this is for the individual. But remember, guys, look at the marker. Styloid process. Internal. Right, guys? Watch. Styloid process. External. Right? We just basically flip it around. Find that styloid process. All right, guys? All right. I think we're good. Let me just make sure here. Hold up. No, and again, styloid process, external. Right? So basically, if you flip it like we just did, internally, internal, styloid process. Right, guys? It's just the opposite side of the styloid process. All right, does that make sense? Is there a carotid canal on both? Yes, there is. There's going to be a carotid canal on both sides. There's going to be a jugular vein, but some of the images, you just got to make sure you find it on the image, because some of the images you can see on one side but not the other, just based on the way the orientation of the skull. So that's just an FYI. All right, but here again, what am I looking for? Jugular foramen by that occipital condyle. That's, I think, relatively straightforward to see. Where's my carotid canal? I got to find that occipital, that styloid process. Okay, guys? But yes, there's a right and left. Absolutely. All right. So that was it. So we've gone through everything from frontal, parietal, and temporal. It's not bad. You got to go back and get it. And like people were saying, that atlas and also the textbook is good, but the atlas has the actual model pictures. All right. So occipital. Of course, the occipital is going to be down back here. Now, this is just a full skull view. You're going to get mostly a part skull view. Lambdoid suture is what separates the occipital from the parietal, right? And the occipital, and I guess technically that squamous goes all the way around. So that lambdoid, and now, please notice the spelling. This is legitimate to call this a lambdoid, but I want you to spell it the way they want you to spell it, lambdoidal. So don't get confused, right? Because again, there's slight variations. Your variation is the lab manual. Are we clear on that, guys? Always label according to the lab manual, right? So again, not a big deal. That's why we don't want to stress you out. You should have all the images in Blackboard, and all the labeling is in this book in front of you. All right, guys? So there's no problem. So don't let this confuse you. It is a lambdoidal suture. All right, awesome. Occipital condyles. Well, guess what? We just saw it. Let's keep going. I'm going to come back to this. Okay, here we go. Here is the occipital condyle. Yeah. Now, this is a slightly different view, so I'll go back to the other one. Occipital condyle, foramen magnum. And there they are right here. Now, honestly, that's not going to be the image. Let me go back to the image. You can see that I've labeled a couple of things on here. Where are we? What do we look for in the occipital condyle? Foramen magnum. I know. So again, foramen magnum, and actually that's the first thing on here, occipital. Exactly. And the condyles. You guys tell me where the condyles are here. You gotta that's it right there. They're like little, I don't know what they're like. I don't have a good, I don't know what to say. Careful, not too far up. You got to go right by, occipital condyle is right beside that foramen magnum. And we've talked about that a couple times, and that's where you can see occipital, right? By the way, guys, watch. This is the occipital bone. And it goes up because you actually can't see that. You can't see that, what am I thinking? You can't see that squamous. Right, the lambdoidal is the occipital temporal separation. That's right, all of that, right, which is cool. All right, does that make sense, guys? You see what we're doing? Yep, the flat plane. Yeah. That's good. The more flat. So notice what I'm doing here. It's a map. It's a 3D map that we're looking at as a picture. So 3D is what you would actually see in class. This is a 2D image because it's a picture, but it's a map. That's how you do this. So these are called bone markings, but they're also called landmarks, right? Yeah, exactly. But you guys see where I'm going with this? All right, good. So don't let this freak you out. You got to get it by chunking it. Get that frontal, parietal, temporal, occipital. And then you'll see the patterns and you'll just review it. Okay, guys? You've got this. You really do. That's great. Whoever did that, that was great. All right, awesome. So again, I'm going back and forth a little bit, kind of giving you an idea. Now, I'm going to come back to this again. Don't worry. So here, again, I did label a couple things here. So let's look at this. There's the occipital condyles. Boom, 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 boom. This is the occipital bone. Boom, 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 boom. Got to be careful. Don't want to go into my mastoid process, right, guys? You see that? Mastoid process, so pretty. Styloid process, temporal bone, right? Yeah, see? Right there. Do you see what I'm saying, guys? And then, as you're looking at these, now, again, images from Blackboard, right? And then here, let's go ahead and just add another thing. Here is the occipital protuberance, sticking out part, okay? That's it, just right. Actually, it kind of looks like a heart. Boo, 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 with a nuchal line, right? That's it. Find your protuberance, which literally is just a little bump, and you can actually feel it. You can feel it, the back of your head, because it's almost gonna go into it doesn't go into the parietal, but you can feel it. All right, now, and there's your nuchal line. Let me see if I can find another image for you. There we go. Boom. Look at this. You see this? Look at that bad boy. It's just a bump out, right? So the superior nuchal line is, so again, look at what we want. For the nuchal line, it says, remember guys, I'm under occipital, right? For the nuchal line, it says superior and inferior. Just give me nuchal line. I'm not worried about the top and bottom, right? I just want the line. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Why? Because it says nuchal line in parentheses, superior, inferior. Guess what? Find the heart. Get the bump out, the protuberance, and then, so technically that top one would be like the superior. Bye. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. It's 8:20. Why do you people not tell me this except for Tara Lynn? Ah. Thank you, Tara Lynn. I appreciate you. Okay, yes. I'm so sorry, guys. It's 8:20. I've kept you 2 minutes late. Sorry. I know. I didn't even notice that. Okay, Gloria, give me 1 second. All right, guys. So, what did we do? We went to occipital, and we finished occipital, basically. I went around it. So, here's the protuberance, the bump out, and then the nuchal line is like the top of the heart, right? So, go. Get everything up till occipital bone knocked out. I mean, everything. Every bone.